friends. Hello, I'm here. I am here. Okay, almost ready. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're ready. Maybe. Holy moly's. Hello, my friends. Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, don't you do that to me. Hi. Why are we doing that? Bear with me one sec, you guys. I need to. Why? Okay, hang tight. Just a moment, please. Oh, Lordy. Let me just try to get rid of something here. How do I delete that? Oh, delete. Okay. Hang tight. Hello, my friends. Let's see if that does it. I'm having an issue with my iPad. It does not want to let me, I don't know why it says YouTube. Okay, here we go. It's coming. I don't know. It said that my iPad was full. I've got iCloud or something going on, and so it's got all kinds of things from the myriad of other computers that I have. And so it had somehow wiped YouTube off of my iPad. And the iPad is important because that is how, once we get going, once we get going, that's how I can, not chat with you, because I can just chat with you all the time, but that is how cleaning my glasses here, that is how I can see what you're saying. And so, almost done. Anyhow, if I don't have the chat, it makes it very hard to, just have fun and interact, right? So it is just about loaded. While we're waiting for that, hello, it's Monday. Happy Monday. I don't know what day it is. I am so turned upside down right now. Nick and I were I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's just get the, stuff out of the way to start with. Hello. Happy Monday. If we've not met before, my name is Lael Kankar. I have a business called Lael by Mail. When I'm not traveling, which is a lot lately, but when I'm not traveling, and mostly on Saturdays, some weeknights thrown in when I'm doing a lot of traveling, we are here doing what I like to call creative listing. So a couple days before, I publish a number of topics that we are going to list about, at least I'm going to list about, and we get together and I create with those listing topics. So it's a very different way, I think a really unique way, I think a very easy way to journal or to tell your story. I think in a lot of cases we don't journal, we don't write because we're afraid that we have to be Ernest Hemingway, right? We're afraid we have to be this prolific writer, and most of us are not that, right? And so that stops us from really writing and telling our story. So when we do it in a list format, that's super easy because we've all listed before, right? We've all made a spelling list or a grocery list or a to-do list or a wish list or a bucket list, lots of different types of lists. But when we are creating this way and when we're documenting and storytelling this way via listing, I think it makes it very approachable and a lot of fun. So that is what we are doing here this evening. In the description box of the video down below, you'll find a ton of links. The very first one that you'll see will take you to blog post for today's or tonight's listing session. We'll give you the list topics. Below that, you will see a link to a free class. If you are just getting started with us, there is a free class available that you can buy. You don't have to buy it, but it's free. About how to get started creative listing. So I can't recommend that enough if you are someone who is just joining us and maybe you found me through someone else, or maybe just the algorithm god sent you my way. Thank you. But it'll give you some really good tips for getting started creative listing, because when people talk to me about creative listing, they always say, I don't know where to start. Where should I start, Lael? And so I give you lots of different ideas on how to get started creative listing. Anyhow, then other links in the description box. One, basically, we can take you to the page on my website showing you what I am using during tonight's listing session. All right, so try to make it super easy for you to find as much information as you can. Amy, my right hand, is not here with us tonight. She is on vacation, so when I'm talking about products, you'll find them in the what I'm using. All right. YouTube, continue. Allow YouTube. I don't know. Ask app not to track. All right. Apparently, I'm starting all over. Not starting all over. That would be scary. I can't start all over from YouTube. But let's find where we are now on the YouTubes. Oh heavens. Anyhow, yes, I am in, I don't know what time zone right now. Nick, my husband, and I were in Hawaii. He had a business trip, and so anytime we go to Hawaii, I tag along with him because, hello, Hawaii, right? I use miles, super easy, and then obviously his company pays for hotel and such, so it's a pretty inexpensive way for me to get a really nice trip. Anyhow, so we were gone last Sunday through, well, we took the red eye home Saturday, Sunday. This time of year, there's a 4-hour time difference. I live in Utah, so it's a 4-hour time difference. I had no problem adjusting when I got there. I am an early riser, normally anyhow, so the first couple nights I'd wake up at about, 3 a.m., just naturally there, which would be about 7 here, which would be a little bit later than normal, anyhow. And then it was fine after the first couple nights. Coming home has proven to be a little bit different. Last night I was so tired around 9. Decided I was going to start getting ready for bed and, do the whole routine. By the time I got to bed, I could not go to sleep till about 12:30. And because, that's really 8:30 the time I was used to. And then finally started to doze off around 12:30, and then Reggie the cat decided at 12:45 that he wanted some attention. And that happened 5 times throughout the night. So I was like ready to cry. Anyhow, so I know what time zone I am in now. My body just doesn't really know. All right, let me find the chat here, friends, and then we'll get going. If you are watching live, hello. Please say hello in the chat. I would love to know that you are here. If you are not watching live, welcome to you as well. Leave a comment on the video if you're watching the replay, because then I would love to know that you're here as well. Okay. All right, let's see who we have. Let's check in the chat. Hello, Tabitha. Nice to see you. Miss L from Southern California. Cherie, Southern California. Very beautiful day. Love it. Hello, Maureen. Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. Hello, Maureen. Kathy is here from Southern California. Mimi from Central Coast of California. Louisa, hello. Sunny, Southern California. I know, always lots of Californians. Louisa will be listening today, she said. She's still at work. So some of you are listing with me. Some of you always list with me. Some of you have never done a list in your life. But you know what? That's okay. You're here for different reasons. We all have our different reasons for doing things. I always say you do you. So whatever reason you're here, I'm just happy to have you. Some people work on other projects. Some people just want a noise in the background. Some people cleaning the house, working, whatever it is. So regardless of whether you're here live or whether you're watching the replay, welcome. Nice to have you here. Mimi's ready to be creative. Hello, Wanda. Flora. Hello, Flora. Sarah. Hello, Sarah. Sunny Southern California this afternoon. She's ready to list. Hi, Kyla. Kyla from Spokane. It's funny, you guys, there are a couple of words here already. One of the list of topics that we're doing is words that are hard to pronounce. Someone posted about this. Someone posted this in the Lego by Mail Facebook group maybe about 2 weeks ago, and I thought that'll be a fun list. So, Spokane for some people is a hard one. Some people look at it as Spokane. It is Spokane, even though there is an E on the end, the E is silent. And then squirrel. If you didn't know, apparently if you are a non-native English speaking person, however you say that, Squirrel can be a very difficult word to pronounce, which I found fascinating because that's what we call ourselves here. That's what you guys call yourselves, Squirrel Squad. So we're gonna have a lot of fun without this. We'll have lots of fun tonight anyway, but yes, especially, that's another one for some people. Some people say especially for that list. Love fun. Hello, Jessie. Lister's got to live. Yes, Jessie. So that's how I know some of you from many years ago. I think 10 years ago, 11 years ago, maybe, from Reset Girls Lister's Got a List, right? That was so fun back then. Maureen is listening and watching while doing some yard work at the cottage. Oh, that sounds just so peaceful, Maureen. I love that. And you know what, Maureen? Even if you hadn't said you were from Canada, I would have guessed you were from Canada because of the word cottage. Wanda never lists. She just watches and listens. Lists later. Let's see. Rab2912. Is everyone listening or does anyone have other projects underway? Yeah, you guys chat away. For sure, chat away. Hello, Jill. Hi, Cindy, Purple Cindy. Carrie and Corvallis. Arteria. Oh, hello. I'm gonna start with, how about Arteria? That is a hard one for me to roll my R's. I assume that's how you pronounce your name. Well, not like I did, but you know. Then Elaine is from Quebec. Hello. Quebec could be on our words that are difficult to pronounce list too, right? I think as most Americans, I think we call it Quebec, but I think French Canadian Quebec, maybe? I don't know. But Arteria, tell us where you're from. Let's see, Cherie. Cherie, you did not miss August Traveler's Notebook Setup class. An email was sent out this afternoon. It is on Thursday. So, my email system staggers, I guess. Email delivery. So you should get it either today or sometime tomorrow, but class is Thursday. Hello, Danielle from Florida. Maureen, thank you. It's a dress. Maureen said, love your pretty top. It is a dress. I am in my dress mode these days. Hello, Susie Comey. Nice to see you. I saw your fun little hello, happy Leos this morning. That was fun. Paula Kraus, hello. She's not listening tonight. She's getting ready to start dinner. Marian Garcia said, hello. Thank you with my order. Okay, so Marian, you're in Northern Washington, right? Is that, I think that's you. We had the conversation about being the entrance to, oh my gosh, San Juan Islands, right? Is that you? Hello. Kathy Williams. Oh goodness, 110 in Phoenix. That is crazy. That is hot. Stay cool. Don't go outside. The Queen B8 said, fun day to be listing, inside listing and not in the heat outside, right? I did not walk outside today, so I spent a ton of outside time this past week. I spent a ton of time today working, so it looks beautiful outside. I'm sure it's warm. We're usually about mid-90s this time of year here in northern Utah. Hello, Anita T. Happy to have you live as well. Hi, Stacy. Marsha Blount, hello from Ohio. Just want to make sure I get everybody before we jump in, if I can get everyone. Hello, Glows. Gloria, nice to see you. Maybe I think you did hear Nick in the background. That's crazy. He doesn't really realize we can hear those things. He thinks he's cooking dinner, so he doesn't realize that we can hear those things or whatever, right? Hello, Misty. Heather Jackson, sunny Southern Cal. Scott Sorensen, happy to be seeing you live. Okay, so is this Scott or is this someone under Scott's YouTube? Let me know. Hello, Carla. Wendy Rochelle, hello. Mary Peck, hi, Mary. Trisha Minikin, hello. Yes, Hawaii was amazing. We did some really, really fun things while we were there. So I will talk about those. Oh, this coming Saturday, because this Saturday we will do About Last Month. And it'll be About Last Month for July, because this Saturday will be August. Janice J. Creates, New Jersey, hello. This is really funny, my friends. My calendar's up on the wall over here. And it's one of those like dry erase calendars. And out of habit, I look over there. It still has June on it. So guess just all of July was a whirlwind, right? Mrs. Mean Pants, I love it. I from Houston. Hello, Shelley. Hi, Karen Haynes, Robin Morgan. Hello, Colleen from Toronto. Carla Riley, her first live here from hot middle of Tennessee. Welcome to your first live, Carla. Hello, Christy. I'm happy to be listening again tonight. Nice to see you. Kim P from North Hampshire, New Hampshire. Cherie from Colorado. Nancy Stone, hello. All right. Cake loves budgeting. Hi from Chicago. Your first time here and you've never listed. You're excited to learn. Okay. Now that we've been going for a couple of minutes, if you are new here, welcome to you. We are so happy to have you here. If you're just getting started listing, and many of you, some of you have found me either through Hand Can Plan or through the Joyful Sojourn, Hannah and Elizabeth. And that means you've been kind of more working in a planner in the past. Maybe never done creative listing before. And of course you can do creative listing in anything you want. I use a traveler's notebook. Some people do it in a planner, some people do it in a notebook, lots of different things. But if you're just getting started, linked here in the description box of the video is a link to a free class that I've done called Intro to Creative Listing. It will give you a couple of tips and some ideas on how to get started creative listing if you are looking for that information, if you're just kind of getting your feet wet. So, can't recommend that one enough. Hi Kristen, nice to see you. Yeah, Kristen said, nice surprise Monday night. Yes, I was out of town this past Saturday and I'm traveling a ton in August, so I'm just peppering in our listing where we can so we can have fun and be creative together. Christine Wilkins from Atlanta. Hello, Linda Clark from Kentucky. Becky Moore. Hi, Becky. I think Becky's back with us again. I know Becky joined us last Saturday. She is also starting creative listings she had shared with me. So hopefully, Becky, we've got you hook, line, and sinker now, right? Now you're back for the second time. Hello, Marcia Blount, working on your traveler's notebook from New Zealand. It is nice when we switch things up from a Saturday morning to a weeknight evening because that lets lots of you join us that maybe haven't been able to join us before. Or maybe join us before live, like some of our international friends. Now, if you're in Europe, it's late at night, early in the morning, so apologies for that. But if you are like Australia, New Zealand, then it is morning. But right? 15 hours? I don't, but anyhow. A lot of times, if you're from that part of the world, you can't join us on a Saturday because it's really early. So welcome. Welcome, Marcia. All right. Kathy is watching on vacation. Hi, Kathy. Where are you watching from? We're on vacation. Shelly just got her Here and There project kit today. Yeah, you guys, I tell you what, the orders are blowing up. In a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way. Lots of orders. Poor Lily and Denise are just like, oh my gosh. So they usually are happy when, they like me here, but they also like it when I'm out of town because sometimes it lets them get caught up and work on some things that maybe they don't get done otherwise when lots of orders are coming in. So many orders came in while I was gone, so that's good. We love that and thank you. Yeah, they just keep coming, which just love so much. I had to reorder Timmy Alpha. So July release on the 15th. I had to just reorder Timmy Alpha, reordered Destination Unknown, and reordered By the Numbers 2. Holy cow, you guys blew me away with those. So thank you. Let's see. Flora's listing. She has her listing goodies for on vacation. She helps get some listing done. I hope you do better than I did, Flora. I took a carry-on, like a roller carry-on with me, full of stuff that I wanted to play with, and none of it. Didn't even open it. So, sometimes, you know how that works. If you don't have it, then you have extra time and you wish you brought it. But if you take the time to put it all together and bring it, sometimes for me it just doesn't happen. That was the case, but that's okay. All right. Let's see. I just want to make sure Aunt Recreates. Hello from North Texas. Pamela Sorensen. Nice to see you here, Pamela. Salmon Islands. Yes, Marion. That's you. Okay. Heather Kitchener, Ontario. Stephanie from Central Texas. Oh my goodness, I just keep going tonight. Danielle our first Lail by mail order should be delivered tomorrow. So excited to start listing. I am very excited for you to start listing with us, Danielle, and everyone who's here, whether you've listed before or not. Stephanie Joy Liam from Washington State, your first time here. You guys, I love this. It is a very, very, very friendly community. Very friendly. The Squirrel Squad that we have here. I will just tell you, when I do live giveaways, just know, if you leave a comment that you were hoping that someone responds to during that live giveaway, it's crazy. So maybe wait until after the giveaway to ask a question or to say something about yourself, because that live giveaway comments go so fast. So, but I just love having you guys here. So fun. So fun. All right. Jackie, hi, Jackie from Nevada. Oh, there we go. Pamela Sorensen. She was under Scott's account at first, but now you're under your own account. And I never know. I don't know who's here. Other than if you say something in the chat, then I know you're here. Otherwise, no idea who's here. So there could be males, there could be females, there could be, I don't know, dogs and cats watching. Who knows? But usually I think it's pretty predominantly female oriented. So anytime I see a male name, or at least what I think looks like a male name in YouTube, in someone chatting, I always wonder if someone's under someone else's account. So that's why I say that. All right, Petite Mint, hello from Oklahoma. Just got back from a West Coast road trip. Good for you. Good for you. I love it. You guys are talking about wearing dresses and shorts and what you're wearing. Becky said, got the hook and line, not sure the sinker. Becky, we're going to get you the sinker, okay? We're going to have you hooked very soon. Hello, Teresa V. All right. Hi, Leanne. There we go. Thank you. Leanne is from Melbourne, Australia. She said it's 10:22 in the morning. So I knew it was, 15-ish hours, whatever that is. All right. Okay. I am going to Queen B8, will you shoot me an email with what you're asking, and then I can ask you a question about that, because I'm not sure I understand that. So shoot me an email, lailbymail@gmail.com. Hello. Oh, look at Danielle found me both from Joyful Sojourn and Hand Can Plan. I love that. Oh, they're lovely ladies. All right, Under the Willow Tree. Hello, Dayton. Maritza Garza, hello. Your first live again from Joyful Sojourn. We are so happy to be expanding our little listing family here. So welcome, everyone. Welcome. All right, my friends. I think I got through everyone. If I missed you, apologies. I didn't mean to miss you, but I know you didn't come here tonight to hear me do the romper room where I'm welcoming everyone by name. I think you're probably here so we can get our listing underway. All right, so that is the plan. A couple things about the schedule, the listing schedule. So I always put our listing schedule out 3 months in advance. So right now the schedule has been out for July, August, September, but it's always very tentative, open to change, because my life, I'm in a stage of life right now, empty nesting, where sometimes we literally a couple days before decide we're going to jet out of town. The things that I already know are scheduled that we can't list when I'm traveling and teaching. However, just want to make sure that you are kind of paying attention to that listing schedule. The best place to be up to date on that is the bottom of the emails that I send out. So if you're not getting my emails, go to lailbymail.com, and once you're there for about 10 seconds, a little pop-up window will come up. Always at the bottom of the emails, because I've had to change a number of days through this quarter, just so you know. And then I think we had to do another change in September. But I am going to be gone for a little over 2 weeks in August, so our August listing schedule is quite a bit different than normal. With that said, we are listing this Saturday, and this Saturday is, I don't know, because my calendar on the wall is not correct. Anyhow, this Saturday, the first Saturday in August of 2025, I don't know what it is. Beyond that, also it's posted Lail by Mail Facebook group, Lail by Mail Facebook page, and on the blog. So I try to keep you, posted so you know when we are listing. Giveaways. I was printing some photos and did not get the giveaway picked for when we were together last. So anytime that we're together, I always do multiple giveaways. I do at least two. One is a live giveaway, and those are for the people that are watching live. That happens in the chat, so we'll talk about that one in a minute. But then I do what I call after party giveaways. After party giveaways you participate in by leaving a comment on the video once it's over. So tonight we will have two giveaways. One will be live. One will be after party, and I will draw that one Saturday morning before we start, and then I will also draw the one from when we were together last. You know that you've won. If you're watching live, you'll hear me tell you that. But if you're not watching live, then I reply to your comment, and then you should get an email. So I reply to your YouTube comment. Yes, so two giveaways tonight. What else do we have? What else do we have? Orders shipping like crazy. Oh, I know one thing that is very exciting just to kind of be aware of. Maybe mark your calendar. End of August. I think the 26th. I gotta check the date. The 25th or 26th. My next paper crafting collection, Dear December, will go live along with the pre-order for my annual December documented mini book project kit. This will be my 12th year doing the project kit. This is my first year of the entire kit is Lael by Mail products with the exception of the binder. We'll talk about that later. But anyhow, I will do a live that morning where I will kind of do an unboxing of the full collection. But it's pretty awesome, I have to say. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this one. All of them, right? But I think you'll really like it. So maybe just, you know, put a little reminder out there that is coming. Other than that, you guys, I think we're ready to roll. So I am going to rotate the camera, plug in, turn off the overhead lights, move the studio lights, and then we'll be ready to play. Okay? Okay, yes, I'm so excited about that, you guys. Yes. Dear December. So excited that it is mine, all mine. Paper, 4 packages of die cuts, 3 stamps. I just got my stamp samples today. Ooh, I just got the washi today. It's all rolling in. Yeah, so very exciting. Alrighty. Get these lights moved in here. As always, we're hoping that Reggie decides to cooperate. Reggie the cat, he's sleeping in his little bucket, so we shall see. Thank you, Colleen. I have plugged in, so we are good. A quick reminder, if you are watching, whether you're watching, okay, if you're watching, now, that was kind of silly, Lael, because if you're not watching, then you're not hearing me say this. If you're watching live or you're watching the replay, I would love a thumbs up. That is the easiest way. One of the easiest ways that you can interact, support anyone that you are following on any of the social medias. Thumbs up, like, tell your friends, all those things. Okay, so what we're going to do first, we are going to quickly look at the lists that we did when we were together last. We were together last on the 19th, and we did 3 lists. So we'll start with this guy. This one is a list that we have been doing every month since December of 2025, and it is called Glimmers. So a glimmer, if you're not familiar with that term glimmer, a glimmer is kind of just one of those everyday moments that gives you a little spark of joy. There are now 2 Glimmer stamp sets, Glimmers and then Glimmer 2. But the whole idea is to just kind of be watching for them. It's the kind of thing people say that if you are watching for things like that in life, you tend to recognize more and see more. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm always looking for a nice little spark of joy. So this list, I had mentioned, I was inspired by one of my design team members, Susanna Lee. She had, and it wasn't a project for me, but she had just posted a project on Instagram, and it was laid out like this. And I loved this kind of look with photos across the top and then a list, you know, here and here. So very different than I normally do, but loved kind of her design. We used the summer fall season pass for this guy, and then a mix of the Glimmer 2 stamp set for that little guy and that little guy. And then the little kind of Glimmers from the original Glimmer stamp set. So that was one of the lists that we did. Wasn't that a lovely design, Flora? And I can say that because I was inspired by Susanna's design. Nancy R said, Glimmers, love it. Marcia, love your hand. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, Marcia. You know, of course, what I want to say here is Marcia, right? Any of you that are Brady Bunch fans like me. All right, next up, this is a currently list. We do currently lists every so often, and sometimes our currently list is using many prompts. Let me see if I have one in here. Is using many prompts, like, let's go back here. Oh, here we go. Like this one. So currently eating, drinking, listening, reading, celebrating. Basically, I'm just making a list of things that I am currently doing. That uses I used a mixture here of the currently stamp set and currently two. So between the two stamp sets, I think we have 50 some odd prompts that you can just pull out and figure out which ones that you want to do. This one is what I call a time capsule. This is a time capsule list, right? Because it is very specific to a particular point in time. If I was doing a currently list when I was a brand new mom, it would be very different than my life today, right? If I was doing a currently list when I was in high school or college or a new working professional, it'd be very different than my list today. Now, the list that I did on June 14th, 2025 will likely be very different than a list that I might do in September of 2028 or 2030, right? It's just one of those fun lists. It's a really easy one to get started with. If you're not sure where to start creative listing, pick a currently, right? Because that doesn't matter where you start, right? You don't have to go back 20 years to start with a currently. You just start here and move forward. There's also another list that I find is really fun to do with littles, okay? So if you have little kids in your life, kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, things like that, because they change so much, especially babies. So sometimes we do a currently list where we're using multiple prompts, and other times, like when we were together last, we did I did a currently with a single prompt. So this one is things I'm currently listening to. So currently listening. Nick, my husband, and I have recently started collecting albums, records. All right. So we've been listening to a lot of those record albums. So my list, things I'm currently listening to, some of the albums that we have purchased. And these kind of all started in May. So it's a very new kind of collecting hobby for us. I used the new Mini Icons Music stamp set for this list. So I used, that was one of the little mini icons, the little kind of record coming out of the record, I don't know, case, whatever you call it. Also used the definition stamp for music. Used that little stamp also from Mini Icons Music. That little guy also from Mini Icons Music. And then I used a couple of rub-ons from Vicky's Flower Emporium collection. All right. And then even added a little, that's from the Glimmer stamp set, something about this moment. So just kind of talked about over here, how we kind of started collecting records. So that was another list that we did. This was the third list. And I still need to do some photos over here for it. I did not have time. We listed on Saturday, week before last Saturday, and then Nick and I left on Sunday. So I didn't have time to add photos yet, but I will. This is called In the News. In the News is a list that we typically do on a monthly basis, where I am just listing some of the things that happened in the news for that particular month. So I used the new Timmy Alpha stamp set. That is that bold June. And I used it in a really light gray ink. So it is, it's very subtle. You can still see that it says June, but it kind of sits in the background a little bit. And then In the News on top, and that is from the In the News stamp set. We used lots of new stamps last time we were together. I used the new By the Numbers 2 for this. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if you were with me for this list, it didn't look exactly like this when we were done with it. I played with it a little bit more this afternoon. I could see, okay, my kind of separation between items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. But when I got down to here, they were all like blending in together. And I'm like, well, that's no good. So I took out my ruler, took a black pen, and just drew a line between each of the items on the list. So it helps to kind of separate them a little further. Then, and this will be really hard to see, you likely won't be able to see this, but I took a gray watercolor pencil and then kind of wrote on top of or over the black line. So it just kind of helped to tone it down a little bit. And then that gray kind of blended in a little bit with that. So there you go. Those are our 3 months, our 3 lists that we did when we were together last. Crafty 865 and Tina H both said, love the Dune in the background. So, that is a really great technique. If you maybe don't have a lot of room, I work in a traveler's notebook, so I'm in a little bit of a smaller space. You may be working in a planner. You may be working in, whatever you're working in, but sometimes you may not have enough room for a title, especially if your title is has 2 parts to it, like June in the news. So layering like that with a lighter ink below and a darker ink on top is a really easy way to kind of get all the information down that you need without taking up too much room, right? If I had popped in the news down here, I would not have had enough room for that stamp to write everything on the news. Anytime you're doing something like that, at least the way that I like to do it, I generally like to go with a lighter on the bottom and a darker on the top. Now you can play with it, but I find if you do darker on the bottom, lighter on the top, generally that lighter might blend in too much, the top layer with the bottom layer. That is, that ink is Lost Shadow. So one of the Tim Holtz Distress Oxides. The other thing, I think when you're doing something like that, I try to keep whatever I use as the bottom layer, so the font for the bottom layer, pretty simple, all right? So that is a very simple sans serif. It does not have your little serifs, kind of the little legs or tops and bottoms that you sometimes see. Well, here you go. In the news, those little guys at the top and bottom, those are serif. Those are serif. So if they don't have those, it's called sans serif. If you are kind of combining fonts like that, if you can do something that is really basic, all the same size, then I think it tends to work a little bit better than if you're doing something super ornate as your base layer. All right, super easy, super easy. All right, let me just check chat really quick before we start. Before we start listing. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. If I have ever missed a question, don't be shy. Just type it again. If you type it uppercase now, it's a lot easier for me to see now that I flipped the camera and that I'm not like showing you all those things and trying to talk. So type it again in case I missed it. All right. Hello, Julie. Nice to see you. You got your destination unknown stamps. You're off to Ireland on Friday. Julie, you're going to have an amazing time. Ireland is... Oh my goodness, like fell in love with Ireland. Absolutely. All right. Oh, Marcia, you're from Ohio. You're working on your traveler's notebook from your trip to New Zealand last year. Oh, that's funny. I think I confused that, didn't I? I think I read between the lines there. Okay. Glimmers, love it. Okay. Aunt Recreates, huge Brady Bunch fan. Used to watch it all the time when I was younger. Yes. I talk about Brady Bunch a lot. It's great entertainment, but also good life lessons. Like, you're not supposed to take black sand from Hawaii. You're also not supposed to take any rock from Hawaii, or you're also not supposed to take a little tiki that you find in a cave from Hawaii, or you'll be Greg Brady and you'll be cursed, and then you'll have to take it back. You'll be haunted by Vincent Pearl? Vincent. I can't remember. Anyhow. All right. Sleeve. Thank you, Crafty 865, the sleeve. All right. All right. Okay. If I miss something, do me a favor. all caps. And Vincent Price, thank you, Vincent Pearl. Where did I get Vincent Pearl from? I was close. I got the Vincent P part. Right, okay. All right, friends, here we go. We are ready. Our first list today is a list that we have done for the last 2 years. And it is called This Is Me. All right, so in the Listing with Lael idea books, if you have 1, 2, or 3, there are 3 as of now. 3, there's a brand new one that comes out every year. There are 3 Listing with Lael idea books. We started doing this Is Me list in 2022, right about the time that I released the This Is Me stamp set. So the whole idea, this is volume 2, we'll start here. All of the books have a chapter called This Is Me. So if you are looking to write lists that are very specifically about you, and looking for list topics for that, the This Is Me chapter is a really good place to go. So in 2023, I was 54. You can do the math, you know how old I am now. This was the first time we did this list. So I'm always adding a photo, adding my age, stamping This Is Me, and then just writing a list of things that make me me. Now, this little one, that is also me. That is me and my sister and I, coloring when we were little kids. So we did that first in 2023. We also did it in 2024. So this is so funny. I guess how old am I? I am 56. That's really funny. I need to, I'm good. I keep thinking I'm 57. I turn 57 next month, but I'm 56. All right, anyhow. So I decided to just go with that same format again when we did this last year. The only thing that really changed was the number, right? 54 to 55, and the products that I used. But something like this, I figure there's not really a need to reinvent the wheel every time, right? If I have a format that I like and it works, then I'm just going to continue with that format and continue the way that I've done it. So that is what we're going to start out with. Our list, This Is Me. Okay, let's get these. Oh, actually, I would like to have this up. That one's also on the cover. So let's go back here because if I like the format, I might want to have the format kind of readily available to me as we are working. All right, I have my little workbook here. And my workbook is what I use to plan our listing sessions, but it's also what I use. This is where I write all the things, the items that are going on my list, because I have to know what those are ahead of time. If I don't, then I won't remember. Hello, Brenda Bratton. Nice to see you. Stephanie, yeah, us coloring. My dad really enjoyed photography when my sister and I were kids. He did like his whole life, but so lots of photos of us when we were kids. I feel very fortunate to have that. Glow said, I can relate, 56 here and have to keep asking myself how old I am. I know, I got to do the math, right? Okay, 68, oh yeah, okay. All right, so this is a 2-page list. Now, I have printed out a couple of different photos, and I generally, I'm one of those people, I'm behind the camera. I am rarely in front of the camera. I would much rather take pictures of other people and other things than pictures of myself, or have pictures taken of myself. Nick and I, while we were out of town, we were at the pool on Saturday afternoon, and he said smile, and he took a picture. And not my favorite picture. I'm also in a bathing suit, but it's not like I'm standing there in a bathing suit. If I was standing there in a bathing suit, I know you guys will understand this. I would never have a picture of me anywhere of me standing in a bathing suit. But because I'm sitting and you only can kind of see the top half of me, I'm like, well, maybe that's okay. So this is the photo that I am going with. Now, I have 4 versions of it because I am not quite sure how I want to use it yet. So I have a color version and a black and white version, and those are a little bit larger. And then I have also color and black and white a little bit smaller. Nancy asked how my dad is doing. Thank you for asking, Nancy. If you don't know, my dad has Alzheimer's. He is still in the early-ish stages, I guess. His short-term memory is more or less non-existent, but his long-term memory, had been really good for a while, and now that the long term is kind of starting to go as well. But you know what? He is in assisted living. He is safe. He's happy. He's healthy, and that's all we can ask. So, thank you for asking, though, Nancy. I really appreciate that. I know the color one. I know. So we'll see. The color, I know, right? I mean, yeah, the color just looks better, I think, too. But we'll see what the product looks like that I'm going to use with it. We'll see. Thank you, Flora. Yeah, I don't talk about him a ton, but yeah. Stephanie, so true. Stephanie said, "Why are we women so hard on ourselves? We should be able to be however we are." Yes, relating to I would never use a photo of me standing in my swimsuit. No. All right, I know. And you know what's going to happen, you guys? It's going to be the color one. I know. I think so too. All right. So, well, you know what's interesting? I don't know why I guess maybe I thought that I had always used black and white, but I didn't in last year. And I also didn't the year before that. So what was I thinking? I don't know. I think we'll go with color. All right. So the products I'm using for this list are from the Smiles for Miles collection. Okay. Smiles for Miles. Now, Smiles for Miles has a little bit of a travel theme to it, but it has lots of other things that are not travel related. So that is what I'm going to pull out of the collection. So I've got that little 6x8 paper pad. And again, Smiles for Miles, you will find it linked in the description box of the video below under what I'm using. So we'll use pattern paper. We will use some of the die cuts. We will use also probably some of the papery. Oh yeah, papery. There's some different pieces in there. All right, that is what we're going to use. So, I also am going to need some washi because it looks like I normally use washi. I have a feeling with all of this color, we'll see if we can make it work. This is one of the washi rolls from my postcards and passports collection. But I think we might be able to pull, I think we can pull enough color through the embellishments here in the paper to use that washi. And then I will need something, maybe that, or where do we suppose, I don't know, maybe this one. This one is from, I don't know. That one is from Season Pass. Now, there is a black version of this, that ruler washi tape. So, where do we suppose that is? I guess we'll wait. We'll give that a minute. Let's pick our paper. Sometimes when we are doing lists, we are working directly on the page like this, all right? Working directly on the page. So I'm just stamping directly on my Traveler's Notebook insert. Other times I'm doing something like this, where I'm laying down pattern paper first and then making my list on white cardstock on top of that. But this one, I am going to use pattern paper as a base. So, Smiles for Miles 6x8 paper pad. That is pretty. Oh, I guess we better get the photo out, huh? It's funny, I asked Nick, well, he took one picture and I looked at it. I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Please take another one. He took another one. I'm like, oh, wait, my chin, I'm sitting. He goes, no, I'm not taking another picture. Be happy with that one. And so I did. I am. This, maybe. Let's pull that out. We'll pull this one out too. That might work. But I'm going to find that because I think that might go well. Cute little deer here, wood grain. Now this could potentially work, and you won't really see the little deer, but that could work well with that color. Oh no, watch me, I've got way too many choices here. This one, I was going to say it was a little bolder than this one, but this actually looks way more like Hawaiian flowers than the other one, so maybe we'll end up going with that. Lots of options. Bows. Woo! That one's copper foil. That's where you get a little bit of the travel that way. All right. I think we are... Oh, my goodness. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on. Looky. We could use this one. Right? That would be perfect. Oh golly, now I've got too many choices, don't I? All right, so if we use this, we'll see. It might be we might kind of lose the look of the palm trees by the time I put something over it. So we could do those together or those together. I have a feeling I know where I'm going to end up. All right, so there we go. I've picked-ish the papers that I'm going to use. So let's get these put away. And I need my trimmer. One of the many. Let's try this guy. Okay, so I work in a standard wide traveler's notebook. And standard wide is 5 inches wide by 8 1/4 inches tall. So when I can work with a 6 by 8 paper, I work with a 6 by 8 paper because I have very little waste. 6 by 8, 5 by 8.25. And I also, in a 6 by 8 paper, have the pattern scaled down. So the pattern is smaller in a 6 by 8. The scale of the pattern is smaller in a 6 by 8 than it is in a 12 by 12 with the majority of the manufacturers out there. So if we did, we'll see. We shall see. I know everyone's saying palm trees. Palm trees. Yes, it is a 2-page list. 2-page list, Mimi, because one side will have the photo, and then the other side will have the list. So if we're kind of looking at this guy. Oh, guess what? All right, well, if we go this route, then you will see lots of palm trees because you just see my little photo over there, right? All right, I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to do the palm trees. We'll do the palm trees on the right and you will really see them that way. So when I am using a piece of 6 by 8 paper, I am trimming to 4 3/4 wide. Trimming to 4 3/4 wide, that gives me a nice white border all around the base. All right, so there we go, 4 3/4 wide. And this guy also 4 3/4 wide. Now, that piece that you have left over, if you are trimming from a 6 by 8, don't throw that away. That does not have to be garbage, right? Doesn't have to be garbage. And that's something like I did on this guy. You can just take that second piece and pop it over on the other side. You can put it there. Sometimes I will put it over here. I don't know if I have one of those anywhere here. Oh yeah, here we go. So extra left over, and I put it kind of as a border over on the other side. So that's kind of a way that you can make your supplies last a little bit longer, because if I did that, I wouldn't need another piece of paper there, right? Okay, so I am going to work on this list. I call it off the page. So I'm going to create the list, and then when I'm done, I will adhere it into my insert. Okay, I forgot my garbage. Alrighty, so this is the left page. This is the right page. So I am going to round the outside corners. So this would be the far right and the far left. I round the corners because my inserts, my Little by Mail inserts, are they have rounded corners. So I just kind of like the corners to also be rounded. Alrighty, so this will be kind of a good example. I wasn't intending to do any travel related paper necessarily with this, but this is a good example of how a semi-themey collection like Smiles for Miles can work for lots of other things, right? I had lots of paper choices that had nothing to do with travel. All right, next up, we need our white. I am going to, on this side, Miss Susie Comey, are you still here? Deborah! Hi, Deborah. It seems like it's been forever since I have seen you. I was thinking about you today. I'm going to reach out. I have a question I want to ask you about the gratitude, a gratitude insert. I am working on a gratitude-specific Traveler's Notebook insert. And I remember, Deborah, that you do lots of gratitude things. So I want to get some input from you on that. It's been a crazy month. And Joshua had a birthday. I saw that on Facebook. I know it was a long time ago, right? A couple weeks ago. So happy belated birthday to him. Nancy Mars, it's like Old Home Week. Now, Nancy, I'm not saying you're old, but it's fun to see some of you that I haven't seen in a while. All right. Susie Comey, if you are still here, you need to look at something on the website. Susie, I now have 12 by 12 version of this and 12 by 12 version of the lined. That is just a 6 by 8. I know Susie Comey is very interested in that. But that is just one of my Lail by Mail 6 by 8 papers. Super basic. The nice thing about that, though, it's just a little bit more fun than a basic white. So that is what I will use as the base for my list over here. And I will get my trimmer out again. Usually what I do, I just eyeball it, but it usually ends up being around 4 by 7 1/4. Let's see if that is right. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Pencil. And that's when I'm using, like I said, a standard wide. Let's look. That one's 3 3/4. We usually go between 3 3/4 and 4. And that's just what I do. And the only reason I give those measurements is I know sometimes people would like to know. By 7. 3 3/4 by 7 is going to be that piece. Now, I would like to ink the edges of that. That's a little bit plain. So I think what I will do, I think maybe I'll pull in a little bit of that pink. Let's see if we can find that pink. Oh, I know what I'm going to pull out. You'll see me use this in our third list. I have an idea for this on the third list. Let's see. We'll see if it works. It's either going to be fun or it will not work at all, and we'll just move on. If you guys missed it, Tim Holtz, Ranger, just released the minis of the Distress Oxides. So the Distress Ink minis have been around forever. The Distress Oxide minis, something about the formulation, that pigment-based ink that they could not for years figure out the not the recipe, I don't know, the properties, whatever they needed to figure out to make Distress Oxides work in a small. They are now available in small. 24 colors so far. I believe, if I understood correctly, that all 72 colors will be released. So now there's 24. But what I'm going to do, I'll pull these little guys out. Now, I also have them in the bigger size, but I thought we might as well pull this out. We'll use them again later this afternoon, or later this evening. All right, next thing I need. Now, all of the colors aren't out yet, but Spun Sugar was the one I was going to pick up anyway, and that is one of the ones that's available. And those are sold in packs of 4, so they're kind of 4 colorways. And actually, like that. So that's how I have them organized there. So that's set 1, set 2, set 3, and then you have 4, 5, and 6. Those are great if you don't have a lot of space, because clearly they don't take up a lot of room, right? I have 24 inks in those 2 little tins. Tins are sold separately. Or if you're traveling and you want to travel with your inks, you know how much space I would need to take 24 inks with me? A lot of space. All right, so what I'm going to do here, I am going to ink the edges, and I'm going to pull out Spun Sugar, because I'm pretty sure that's the one I want to use. I can open this guy. Let me just put that right back on there really quick. Spun Sugar. Oh yeah, there we go. So I have swatched all of my inks, and if I'm looking to match a color, like let's say I was looking to match that light blue, I would come into my blues and start looking for something that I thought might go with it. But I'm taking that little foam dauber, kind of like Pam, but foam. Little throwback to Mork and Mindy there. Got a little bit of ink on there, and I am just inking up the edges of that paper. And it will just kind of soften it a little bit and help it to blend in. It won't blend in. It'll just kind of lay a little bit more nicely, I think, on top of that background. It won't be so stark. This guy is a storage solution that I have on my website. It holds those little storage cases. When you buy the kind of storage solution, you're buying the case. You're also buying, and I think there are 10 or 12 different inks that you can select, ink names. So you're buying 2 sheets. So those 2 sheets each hold up to 20 inks. So in one little storage container here, I have 40 of my little daubers. Also includes 42 pre-punched circles, not pre-inked, but pre-punched circles. And then 40 of your little Velcro sticker pieces there. So there is a video that you'll see with all of these on the website that kind of walk you through how to swatch your inks. But that is kind of a handy dandy little storage solution there. Alrighty. That was easy. If you like to use a lot of colored cardstock, basically that's almost like I just took a very thin piece of kind of that pink cardstock and laid it down or matted it, right? So it'd be kind of like doing something like that, but not giving me as much of an extra added layer there. Although that was kind of cute. Now that I look at that, that is kind of cute. We want to do that? All right. As I kind of think forward on what I want to use, I am not going to do that. I love the color. However, if I am planning on using that washi, that is, let's just look. That's a lot of kind of vertical line. So I'm not going to do that. We'll just keep it simple. We'll just keep it simple. All right. So now I am ready to, oh, my tape runner I need. All right, friends, so how was everybody this evening? Did you have a nice weekend? It's a Monday, ready to start the week. All right, there we go. Whoops, moved that a little bit. Did I? Oh, okay, now another thing I'm thinking of, this is funny. Whereas before, I don't know, that washi may not go as well now that I've used that paper. We'll see. We'll see what happens when we get there. Heather said she's so excited for the mini oxide. She hasn't purchased yet, but they are on her list. Yeah, I was so thrilled when I got the email from my distributor saying, guess what? And they kept it a secret. Maybe about 10 days, maybe a week, maybe 10 days before they announced it, or they at least announced it to retailers. So we don't have product images yet until it was officially announced to the public. So anyhow, very fun, excited about those. And I will use those, again, another list. Okay, so now we need 2 stamps here. We want that one, Focus. I'm using Focus because I want those numbers. Oh, here it is. And then this is me. So, I'll move this out of the way. I've got too many things in the way here. Too many things. Okay. Pop that over there. All right, 56. I am 56. I'm gonna be milking that as long as I can. 56 for maybe 3 more weeks. 3 more weeks and a little bit. 3.5 weeks. And you know what? Here's the thing. If you are just getting started listing, this is another really easy one to start with. This is me, right? Doesn't have to start at the beginning of the year. I mean, clearly, I didn't start at the beginning of my 56th year because I'm almost 57. Oh, I didn't clean that last time. So you get to decide when you do it. It's a harder one to go back and do, though, right? Much harder to go back and do. I'm going to clean this off really quickly. All right. Let's get our 6 on there. And I'm going to put a little bit of this stamp cleaner on here. Whoopsie, from Ranger. Because that black's been sitting on it a while. That I generally don't recommend that you do that. Don't leave ink on your stamps. Much easier to clean them right after you use them, but especially if you've got something like that. It's funny. I've had this ink cleaner on the website forever. That clear stamp cleaner from Ranger. And hadn't used it. I had it in my, craft room here. I hadn't used it. And I came across a stamp like that I hadn't cleaned well. And I'm like, oh gosh, I am really having to apply some elbow grease on that. I pulled that out and literally you put it on there and then clean it. Comes right off. Now, I am making sure to dry that after. I use Distress Oxides. Distress Oxides are a hybrid ink, pigment and dye, but water reactive. So if there is any moisture on that stamp and then I go to apply ink, when I stamp that, the moisture can be interacting with the ink and it may give me a little bit of a different color than I am expecting. So, what if, what color might we want to use here for our 56? Let's look. I could use spun sugar again, right? I won't use a yellow, but I could use a blue. I don't know. I think a blue might be a little bit too much though. I don't think I want to use a blue because we've got so much blue going on. So maybe we just stick with spun sugar after I just put that away. Let me grab that again. Oh, over here. All right. Now, before I ever stamp on a project, I always want to test it first. Test it first. So, I have my little stamping notebook here. And I want to test. I want to test for a number of reasons. Number one, I want to test to make sure, oh yes, that's going to be perfect. I want to test to make sure that I like the color. I want to test to make sure my stamp is nice and clean, that maybe there's no residue of the black on there. There wasn't. Also make sure that there is no, oh my gosh, unless my word is spelled correctly when you're testing, right? All of the things that you may have happened that you don't want to have happen on your actual project. If you test stamp first, it's a lot easier to discover those things before you mess up here, all right? All right, but I need to take this one off. So let me just clean this really quick because I need to start with the 5. I should have started with the 5 in the first place. Oh, but I had to clean it. That's all right. Okay, so I am using a very small stamping block. When it comes to stamping, one of the things I think can be the biggest help is if you right size your stamp to your stamping block. What I mean is you want to have the smallest size stamping block that you can go with that fits your stamp. Obviously, I can't use this one because it's too small, right? Too small. That's not going to work out well. I could use something like this. If I only have one stamping block, I probably have to have a really large stamping block, right? To meet the size of my largest stamp. This would work. Absolutely, that would work. However, it's a little bit harder to work with a stamping block that is much larger than your stamp because you can't get a really good feel for the pressure. And so you may be leaning one way, leaning the other, just a little bit harder. Not impossible, but much easier if you can right size your stamping block to your stamp like I did there. Now, before I do that one, let's pull out the This Is Me. Because I need to make sure that I leave myself enough space for that. So the This Is Me stamp set is an oldie but a goodie. It has definitely had a resurgence following Joyful Sojourn showing lots of stamps. So I've reordered again now twice since it first came out. So that's been fun. But the whole idea behind the This Is Me stamp set, you can use it obviously to document you. Bucket list, things you like, things you dislike, how many years old you are, your favorites currently. Age is just a state of mind, getting better with age. So lots of different things that you can kind of work with there. But the reason I wanted to pull that out at first is to make sure I give myself enough room. And actually, I think what I will probably come in and do is actually stamp this guy first, because then my 5 and 6 are going to end up kind of squishing in there a little bit. So that I'm going to use with black. I'll use black, I think. Let's look. I need a bigger stamping block. Does that one fit? Oh, it does. Perfect. All right. Get that on there again. It is, I can tell it's not super sticky on the back. If you ever have your stamps start to feel like they're not very sticky, you definitely want them to stick to the stamping block. So if it's kind of doesn't seem to stick very well, it's a good idea to clean it off first. What you don't want to have happen is ink it up and then be getting ready to stamp and have that fall off onto your project. So what's happened here, and I generally find it happens with stamps that have a larger surface area like that, or stamps, teeny tiny stamps, like maybe your bullet stamps. And all I'm doing is taking my little stamp chamois and cleaning the back of that off. When you have more surface area, it tends to collect more like lint, dust, things like that. So clean it off, and then it's going to adhere nicely. All right. Another thing when it comes to stamping, after testing and having a right size stamping block, I stamp standing up. I am a believer, and everything I tell you is opinion, just so you know, that the more leverage you have, the more range of motion you have with your arms when you're stamping, the better your stamped impression is going to be. So if you're sitting, these are your little T-Rex arms when you're sitting. You don't have a lot of range of motion, right? And you want to have leverage when you're stamping. If you don't have much leverage because you don't have a lot of range of motion, then you may not get as nice of a stamped impression, maybe the stamped impression that you would like, as opposed to if you're standing. So when you're standing, you have so much more range of motion. Now, I have a high countertop in my craft room. And you might say, Lael, I don't have one of those. I have a regular sized desk. And if I stand up and try to stamp, that's too far for me. I'll end up with back problems, right? Too far, too much range of motion. And I say, that's okay. Go to the kitchen or go to the bathroom. Go somewhere in your house or your apartment or, wherever you're crafting that has high countertops, regular countertops, counter-type countertops. And use that instead. That will give you a nice, that should give you a nice amount of room for, whoopsie, oh boy, I rocked that a little bit. We'll see what happened there. Should give you a nice amount of room, height for your stamping. Oh, no, we're okay. All right, there we go. When you're stamping, another reason why you might want to test first is to get a feel for the amount of pressure that you need to apply. Your smaller stamps, your daintier stamps, maybe you have a really beautiful floral that is really fine and dainty. The more pressure you apply, the more pressure is being applied. Yeah. The more pressure you apply, that polymer, that material, tends to spread out a little bit. So if you stamp really, really hard, then you're not going to have the nice fine lines that you see here. If you're working with a little teeny tiny, maybe a word strip stamp, and you're pressing really hard, again, your words may get a little bit blurred because you're applying too much pressure. All of those things is really easy way to kind of learn by testing. We're talking about Superman. I love it. Oh, Carrie said she's doing a This Is Me book, so it's perfect for today. Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Jesse said, instead of smoking in the boys' room, the song, right? Smoking in, stamping in the girls' room. I love it. That's a hoot. That is a hoot. All right. My sound is cutting out. So let's see. Danelle said my sound is cutting out. It sounds like a lot for some of you. The sound is going in and out. Huh? Isn't that interesting? Apologies, friends. So, let's try this because that is so frustrating when that happens, right? Let's try this. Try to go out of YouTube and come back in. I don't know if it's happening with everyone or just some people. Okay, Belinda said she went out, came back in, it cleared it up. Maritza said it's fine for her. So when it is, this is so weird, you guys, internet, right? Going out and coming back in, I don't know why that would fix it. You know, it's like when they say power off your computer. I'm not telling you to power off your computer, but like when they say power off your computer, reboot. But don't do that. But it's also weird when it happens to some people and not everybody. Here's the deal. When it's some people and everybody, then it's not me. Then it has something to do with your internet connection. And if you have a large internet service provider like, I don't know who, then it could be that they are having issues. And that's why some people experience the problem and not others, because we all have different internet service providers. All right. So here's my 6. I'm just going to test it again to make sure I didn't get any lint or anything on there. Nope, that's good. In my opinion, time testing is never wasted, ever, ever, ever. I would rather take the extra 30 seconds and test something and be like, oh yeah, it's good, than not test something and realize I have a big old Reggie hair. Not one of our cats, but our cat. Much rather discover that testing. Or that the color I thought would work really well doesn't really work really well. Yep, I don't know. It sounds like if you're having a problem with the sound, leave, but then come back, right? Just hop back out, close down YouTube, come back in, and then it seems to be working for most people, I think. All right. Now we'll get our little 5 ready here. Get that nice and inked up. The other thing that you can do testing, and I do this a lot, well, I did this a lot, when you are kind of layering 2 stamps together and using different colors, sometimes it's nice to like try it both ways, although those are different, right? Here I was trying to decide if I wanted a black outline or kind of an orange outline, but then you can kind of play on your little test book to see which way you like something better. Mercury's in retrograde. So, you know what's weird? You hear that's really common, right? You know, maybe that would be a fun list. You know, sayings that you don't know what they mean. Like, I don't know what it means when people say Mercury's in retrograde. Now, something with moon or I don't know. But also, I think it also means something else. You know, when people say waxing poetic, that's kind of another one of those. Alrighty. Now, if you're new to what I do here, and you're thinking, holy cow, I can't do this creative listing. It would take me forever. I don't have that kind of time. And I say, well, if I was just doing this on my own, I would be done by now. There's a lot of talking I do, clearly. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of explaining that I do. So if you are looking for a hobby that maybe you can get done in a, something like this, you want to be a little bit creative, but you don't have a ton of time. 2 things, really. Number 1, all you need is something to write with and something to write on. That's it. Beyond that, stamps, die cuts, paper, washi tape, whatever you have or don't have and want to get, you can add, right? But something to write with, something to write on. Oh, I know. The other thing I say is you do you, right? You're like, Lil, yours are way too foofy. I don't want to have pattern paper. I don't want to have die cuts. I don't want to mess with all those things. I really just want to make the list and maybe add some washi. And I say, you know what? Then that's exactly what you should do. I don't know about you guys, but I'm the kind of person that if I can have just a little bit of creative something, a little bit of creative play every day, Oh gosh, it makes me so happy. It just like fills my cup. And so doing a list like this is an easy way to kind of fill your cup, get a little bit of creativity creating in. All right, we need a little bit of a separator here. Oh, okay, I did some washi there. Let's see if our washi is going to go there. I thought there was washi with this. Is there what? I swear that there was washi with this. No? But, I don't know, maybe this one, Happy Haven, might work as I pull it out. Let's look at this one. See, I'm not sure if that's, I mean, it kind of works, but it's not really the look I'm going for. So I am not going to go with that washi. I think what we might do is, I just pulled this Happy Haven washi out. Let's see if we like one of these. Get my little scissors here. Where'd they go? Hi, Carrie. Oh, okay. They say Mercury in retrograde can cause technological issues, communication, and travel delays. Who knows? Who knows if it's true? I know. Well, is it in retrograde right now? All right. Let's see if we like one of these guys, because we know we want something that's a little bit narrower. Ooh, this one could be fun. This is super narrow. Let's see what it looks like. We can get it started here. Washi tape. Some of you have a ton. Oh yeah, I like that. Some of you have a ton of washi tape, and you're like, I don't know what to do with all the washi tape, Lael. Well, use it just as a nice little accent like that. If you need to, generally, I like to have something that breaks up my title and my writing, especially if part of my title's black like that. Because my writing is always black, it kind of gets a little bit lost in the shuffle. So if I can, we'll keep this out. Oh, that doesn't go there. We'll keep this out. We may use it a little bit more. So if I can have something really simple like washi to add right there, it just makes it super easy. Okay, now we're moving on to photo. I've done this two different ways. I think I like what I did last year. We'll see. But last year, I had made a border along that side with a whole bunch of die cuts. So I thought what I would do, let's look and see if we do the same thing. Now, I printed out two different sizes because this size will leave me with lots of room for border. This size doesn't leave me with a lot of room for border. So let's look at that. Let's trim this guy out. This is a 3x3 printed on a 4x6. I use the Epson PictureMate PM400 for probably 95% of my printing. Unless it is a like 6x8 or larger print, or even a traveler's notebook size print, I'm using my Epson PictureMate PM400. So that is a little 3x3 on a 4x6 that I trimmed out. All right, let's take a look at the die cuts and see what we might pull out. Let me just grab a couple. I'll grab this one, and then we might need something much bigger. Yeah, okay. All right, so this is the ephemera from Smiles for Miles. Hello, Joanne. Nice to see you. Vacation mode. Wanda has the stamp set. I really should do some of these. You should, Wanda. You should. All right, so let's look here. I don't know. This is kind of. I think it's too big, but it kind of reminds me of like a little cabana. right? Like at the Copacabana. Ooh, right. We've got some, yeah, I think that's not going to work unless we cut part of it off. But I think we're not going to have trouble finding lots of pieces to use here. Oh, okay, right. This is funny. I knew I wanted to use Smiles for Miles just because it has a diverse assortment of icons. But I did not realize until I opened up the die cuts and started really looking at them and the paper that this works really well with this photo that I happen to have. I don't know, the deer's cute. Oh, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Look at all of these. We'll see what we want to use. And I'm just, quickly going through to pull some out. Obviously, I have way more here than I will use. Way, way more. Way more. All right. I think that settles it. Well, it doesn't settle it. I have too many, but I'm not even going to go into the Papery. The Papery pack has loads of other things. Other little washi stickers and acetate pieces, paper, chipboard, but I don't think we need any of those. All right, so now we had better put this down. So I kind of made it look a little bit like a Polaroid, right? Now that's not the true dimensions of a Polaroid, but by leaving a little bit more white at the bottom than at the top and the sides, it makes it look a little bit like a Polaroid. Now we might want to be over here a little bit. We'll see. All right, we know we'd like the sun. The sun is something we would like to use. Now, ooh, maybe we use that over here. Lots of yellow coming out, isn't there? Maybe we like this one better. This one is just has a little bit more of that green. Works a little bit better with that one, I think. Cute little bow. Now that would be fun there. However, it would take up a lot of my room. I don't know, we'll see. Beach bag is cute. So I'm just figuring out what I would like to use first, and then we'll kind of lay it all out. I think we want to stay away from the yellow. Lots of yellows, but I think we need a little bit more color in there besides the yellow. Then this guy's way too big, so not happening. We cut part of it off. Yeah, no, too big. That's a good little bit of pink in there. Oh, here's a smaller bow. Maybe a smaller bow. That would be cute. It's purple. That is not me. Purple is definitely not me. I don't know if that's going to make the cut. All right. I feel like we've got a pretty good assortment there. No, no bow. All right. So I like the idea of something like that there. However, you can definitely see it here, but this part totally gets lost. It kind of blends in the background. But what if we did... I mean, that doesn't really help at all, but we could do that there, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to get out highlighter tape. Whoopsie. Highlighter tape is, oh yeah, here's the other one. Highlighter tape is removable, repositionable tape, all right? And this is not me, well, I clearly don't have my sales hat on right now because I'm gonna tell you what I do with it. Do you see all those pieces that are all over the tape dispenser? It's removable and it's repositionable, so you can use it over and over and over again. So what I use this for, when you have a whole bunch of die cuts that you want to make work together, right? I know we want all these things to work together. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time trying to get them in an order that I like. I like the way that they look together. And so as I'm doing this, we're just going to start laying them out here along the edge. And once I get them all placed, well, then I have a problem, right? Once I get them, I'm like, oh, yes, I like the way that looks. I get them exactly where I want them. Then I have a little bit of a problem because then I have to pick them all back up again and get them back in the order that I like them, right? Pick them all back up one by one and then get them down in the exact place where I liked them, which is hard to do, right? Unless I use a little bit of tape. If I use a little bit of tape to kind of hold them together, then, guy's too big. That guy. All right, so I think I don't like the black and white guy there. If I put the pink one there, then that's a lot of pink together right there. But then if I put the yellow one right there, there's a lot of yellow right there. Nope. Blue won't work there either because of the blue background. Yep, that just gets too lost. Maybe we have more than one of those. Or maybe we get a little pink down here like this. I did not have SPF 50 on. I had SPF 30. But I was not in the sun most of the time. And it's crazy, I have a pretty good tan going for not being in the sun most of the time. If I was in the sun the whole time, I'd be fried. Like fried. Which don't want to be fried. All right, I think we like that. There's a lot of yellow, but I'm a fan of yellow. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this highlighter tape and I am going, look at, like seriously, those are all individual pieces. Let's stop. Let's just grab a piece. Okay. So I want to connect them all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 individual die cuts. I'm using this tape to connect them all together. So basically, as I am adding the tape, I want to make sure that they are all connected. Whoopsie. Now, you can do this with washi tape. You just have to be careful. Sometimes the washi tape will actually pull up part of the color or part of the paper from the die cuts. Some people use like press and seal. I've never used that. I find this works really well. So I've now taken 8 individual die cuts and I made 1 die cut and I have them exactly in the order that I want them. So I'm just going to turn that over. And on the larger spots, I can add my tape runner. But in some of the smaller spots, I am going to use a glue pen. This has been out of stock. This is back in stock again. So if you've been looking for this and waiting for this to come back in stock, it's now back in stock. That little glue pen. So now I just want to add a little bit more adhesive to some of these little parts, these little smaller parts adhesive I'm adding, especially like that little Monstera leaf. Where it's a little bit harder to get my tape runner in. All right, there we go. And now I pick that back up. Let me grab my tweezers. And we set it right back down again. One word of advice. Depending on your photo, you don't know until you try this, but I have learned the photo paper I use with the Epson Creative Printer, if you use the highlighter tape on top of the photo, it pulls off part of the ink, so you probably don't want to do that. That's a good idea like this. If you printed more than one photo, maybe, or you have more than one photo, maybe just try it on there and see what happens, because you don't want to, kind of mess your photo up. All right, then you just come back in and pull off all that tape. So highlighter tape is meant to be used like in textbooks, or if you're reading a, you know, a book, a paper book, a hardcover book, whatever. When you think about a book page, especially if it's like a paper book, or you could even do this like if you like to Bible, you know, if you're reading your Bible and you're highlighting things, you could use this tape as well. It is meant to not pull up whatever it is on. And you think how fine like Bible paper is, or how fine some textbook paper is, or magazine or whatever. This didn't, you know, it's not going to pull up any of your text or any of your paper. Now I'm just going to add a little bit to that little stem right there. All right, so we are well on our way. Now I'm just going to do the same thing over here, just a little tiny bit. That. If you are one that likes to use die cuts for words, individual letters, then this highlighter tape is great for that, because you know, you get your whole word spelled out and laid exactly where you would like it to go, and then you just use your little highlighter tape, put it across all the letters, and then you pick it up as one instead of individual pieces. Alrighty, we're just about ready to start our list. Will Amy be back Saturday? I know, Wanda, I know you always miss her. I love that. You know what? I don't remember. I do not remember. Han can plan. Hello, Hannah. Do I use Epson brand photo paper? I don't. I use, that one is a Canon that I use. I think I use for both my 5x7 and 4x6, I use a Canon photo printer. I found that it doesn't matter. And now that's my personal opinion, right? You may look at, you know, you may look at it and go, well, I don't like that. But I have found that it doesn't matter. You don't have to use their paper. It's not like a Canon selfie where you have to use their paper. It should be linked in the description box of the video. Kind of towards the bottom, it is probably linked, the photo paper that I use. And if not, if you want to shoot me an email, I will send you links. Actually, it's also, if you go to laylebymail.com and click on favorites, it is linked in my Amazon store there. All right, so there we go. There's not, I mean, here's the thing. Over here, I don't need to add a lot. This is turning out so different than I thought it would. I didn't know that that's sad. I didn't know it had all the palm trees in it, so that's perfect. Okay, so I don't need a lot more decoration here. I did, when we did it last year, I felt like I needed more stuff here because, well, my whole photo, the background of my photo was white. And then it was really plain down there. So I did end up adding a lot more over on this side. But you know what? I don't think I need to. And I don't really want to do any more washi or anything along here. The only thing I think I'll do is, I think I will, let me just look here. Age to perfection. Now, if I was thinking about that, I could have done that there. If I was thinking about that ahead of time, I would have placed those die cuts differently. But I already know if I try to stamp on that and then stamp on the die cuts, I won't like the way that looks. Getting better with age. Ooh, that could fit, right? Let's look. Getting better with age. I like it. We're going to do it. Now, I'm stamping on a photo. This very much depends on your photo paper that you use. And the ink that you use. Some people like to use StazOn ink, especially when stamping on a photo. I am not a fan of StazOn ink. That's just my personal thing, so I don't use StazOn. We have played before using the VersaFine Clair on a photo, and it has worked fine with the photo paper that I use. So I can't necessarily say that it would work on the photo paper that you use. that's another one of those things. Test it. Just test it. Now, this is a good way to test. If you have, like, I cut part of that photo off, right? I had, part of my photo paper extra. If you're trimming photo paper like that, just save that, and then you've got little, your extra scraps. Oh, here, like this. Let's just test it. That you can test on. Now, you want to make sure, especially this is like a semi-gloss photo paper. All right. This one, I was worried about it. Well, I wasn't holding on to it enough. That's why I only got a partial stamp. That one is fine. So, for sure test this though. I don't want anyone to ruin a photo, especially if you are trying to stamp on a photo that you only have one of. Like maybe from when you were a little kid or something like that, or a relative. You don't want to do that, right? You don't want to mess something up that you can never, recreate or get back again. So. There we go. A little bit of it did not stamp, just a tiny bit. So, and that was me. It's not the stamp. I am going to try something. I'm going to take this pen, the Zig Photo Signature pen. This is meant to write on a slick surface, like photo paper. So what I'm just going to do here, I am going to just fill in those little parts, draw in those little parts that did not stamp. So I just fixed the E. Do you see the G? I'm very carefully going to fix that. Can't even tell I did that. And then we've got a little bit of that going on over here, where I just didn't quite press hard enough. All right, there we go. Getting better with age, we all are, right? We're not getting worse with age, we're getting better with age. Hopefully we're getting better with age. Hello, Holly Noel. That is the perfect question for you to ask. I remember you every year because of that. Because of your name, which is, I love. It's just beautiful. She said, when does the December documented kit come out? Oh, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, Holly Noel. I assume that you weren't here. It's all good. It will go up for pre-order the end of August, the 25th or 26th. I don't remember which date I have it slated for. And this year it's using my brand new, not released yet. This collection will also release at the same time. Dear December. So all of the products, the whole paper collection is mine. Aunt Recreates. This is me. This is the This Is Me stamp set. Hi, Irene. Hello, Nancy. Did I use? Yes. About 12 spots up. Oh, yes, I did. Yes. All right. Rebecca. Like Rebecca? Rebecca. I feel like I'm aging like a fine milk. Are you curdling? Oh, I love it, like a fine milk. That sounds like an oxymoron, fine milk. Like a fine milk. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to make our list. If you were doing this list with me, what would be on your list? What would be on your list? What would be on your This Is Me list? What is something that describes you? A hobby? A look? We did do a list a couple months ago. I'm in my era. Taylor Swift in the era. What era are you in? It could kind of be like that. Oh yes, and if I don't answer your question, it means I just missed it. I wasn't ignoring you. All right, April got her order. I love it. Okay, last thing I need to do is I need a bullet stamp. So that would be a small little tiny stamp that I use in between each of the things on my list. Now, there is a palm tree, but I'm not going to do a palm tree. That's a little much. I don't need to really overemphasize the palm tree. That's cute. There's a little beach thing there, but maybe that little flower. Let's look at that little flower. That could work. This is going to be a run-on list, so I just write. When I'm doing a run-on list, I need to have something that separates. Oh, maybe we'll just do this little flower. I need to have something that separates each of the things on my list, or it's going to be very difficult to see. I don't know, maybe that goes there. All right, so I pulled out this little flower. I'm also pulling out the stamping stylus. Okay, stamping stylus, when we talk about having the right size stamping block for your stamp, your stamping stylus is designed to work with your really teeny stamps, like my bullet stamps. If this is the smallest stamping block you have, you've got a little teeny stamp that you're trying to work with. It can be done, right? But let's face it, some of us are a little bit timid when it comes to stamping. And if we can have tools that make life easier for us when it comes to stamping, then we feel a lot more comfortable about what we're doing, right? Did I put those away? I did. So that little tiny stamping block, let's pull this guy out again. Now this may not be, you know what, maybe we'll do this because the stamp is pretty fine. We might not see it as much. See that? I think what I will do is maybe we'll go picked raspberry. And then picked raspberry will just show up a little bit more, I think. And we still have kind of that, we have a darker color, a darker pink in the product that we're using. Oh yeah, right? Okay, so let's look here. Spun sugar is what I use to stamp the 56. But when you see that little tiny flower stamp, it's really hard to see. So if we go darker on our list, then it'll be a little bit easier to see. So we're off to the races. Okay, what is on my list? What is on my list? I'm a traveler. I love to travel. I love to travel. We're doing more and more as we get older. And that's because of a couple of things. Number one, empty nesters. Number two, a little further in life, so maybe some more discretionary income to travel, and then also have saved for lots of years to travel. And then I own my own business, so I have some flexibility in terms of my free time and when I can go do things. And then Nick has worked for the same company for 30 some odd years, so he has accrued 6 weeks of vacation. So that gives us kind of more time to travel now than we have ever had before. I am an overpacker. I am a chronic overpacker. Like, holy cow, well, come on. Come on. You know, you think you need all the things, and then you don't. But what if you might need it? All right, next up, I am a reader. An avid one. And when I'm traveling, either for business or personal, I read a lot of books. All right, what else about me? I'm a procrastinator. I procrastinate. I work so much better under pressure. So much better under pressure. Because if I have too much time, then I don't do it until it comes down to when I really have to do it. I'm a procrastinator. I'm a planner. Very much a planner. I have to plan. It's in my nature. I'm an entrepreneur. You'll see that word come up again on another list today. Entrepreneur. I believe I've finally curbed my sweet tooth. Oh, I got a mean sweet tooth. Like mean. Mean. But I think I finally curbed it. We're gonna see. I am a protein eater. A lot. Plus, kind of goes hand in hand with some people, plus a cottage cheese devourer. Cottage cheese devourer. Because I like cottage cheese, and that's an easy way to get protein in. Let's see. Wanda packs just enough. I am so envious of that. I wish. Let's see. Protein eater. Good for you, Aunt Recreates. Carrie, I love it. I knew that's the reason why we liked each other. Carrie, she said, I could almost copy your notes exactly to my own self. Same. Oh, that's fun. That is fun. A new record album collector. I know we call it vinyl, but I call it a record. Back when I was a kid, we called them records, not vinyl. Oops. Oh well, I only got part of my little stamp there. That's okay. I am mother of the groom. That's never been on my list before. Mother of the groom. This March. Our older son Jack is engaged, so it's very exciting. They're getting married in March, and so I'm a mother of the groom. How about that? I am a summer lover. I love summer. A summer and sun lover. Oh, it just makes me so happy. With sunscreen. I am, and this is also a newer thing this year, an electrolyte drinker. Electrolyte drinker. Now, I don't know. I would not. That would never be on my list before. I don't know, unless maybe I was a big time athlete and needed lots of electrolytes like Gatorade. But I just am reading a lot that electrolytes are good for you to have, and I add electrolytes to my water every day. So, like that, electrolyte drinker. I am a dress wearer. They're so easy and so comfy. Easy, right? You got a whole outfit just already. You just put it on. You don't have to have matching pieces. And then I am always a list maker, right? That's who I am. And so it's interesting. If I were to look at the last time I did this list, and that's the fun, right? This is another time capsule list. Time capsule list is a snapshot with or without a photo, right? Doesn't have to have a photo, but a snapshot of a particular point in time. So let's see what I had last year. Comfort is key, country music and live concerts, always hot or cold, menopause. I've been getting vestibular migraines, diagnosed with cervical spinal stenosis and degenerative disc disease. In my 5th year as a small business owner, I have a sweet tooth that does not quit. Okay. I am limiting my time with people that cause me stress or sap my energy. Working on being a better listener. I want to be traveling all the time. So some of the things are the same, some are different. Some of the things were newer in my life, like the vestibular migraines and the spinal diagnosis that I had. but some of those things didn't even make this list, right? Because just we have different things we're focusing on in our life, and that's this one. So I do have a little bit of extra space there. And so, you know what I say, when you have a space that looks like it's missing something, the answer is always, for me, a word strip sticker. So let's see. Choose to shine, be amazed, live simply, give generously, be you bravely. I mean, that one kind of works. Be you, live your dream with passion. What about that one? Because I feel like I need to do this. I need it to be a 2-tiered little thing here. Live your dream with passion. Okay. Live your dream with passion. There we go. And I will just do right here. This would be July 25. Just barely eking it in before I turn 57. Just barely. All right. So there we go. We are done with that first list. So now I'm going to come back in and adhere it into my traveler's notebook. So this is the plan right now, friends. I'm going to do that. I'm going to clean these things up so we can get ready for our next list. And then when I have done that, we are going to do a live giveaway. So if you are watching live and you are not familiar with how the live giveaways work, it's all done through the chat. So chit chat away in the chat if you're watching live. And when I am done, I will stop. I will just scroll my finger up wherever my finger stops. I am a cat mom. Again, I know, right? I've kind of always been a cat mom. Well, that's not true. Not always. You know what? Let's add it. We've got a little bit more space there. I think we can make it work. So when I'm done, I stop. I scroll my finger up. Wherever my finger stops, that is the person that wins the... how about this? How about the This Is Me stamp set? So whoever wins the This Is Me stamp set. And if it's a stamp set that you already own, no worries. We'll work it out on the back end and get you another one. Get you a different one. All right, so a cat mom. A cat mom. Okay, there we go. All righty. So did you guys... Well, okay. I was going to ask a question, but guess what? I couldn't. If I ask a question, I won't see the answer, so I won't ask a question. I like to sometimes see the answers when I'm asking you a question. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this ready. Now, if you are stamping on a photo, I let that sit for a long time, right? A pigment-based ink, and that's what that VersaFine Clair is, a pigment-based ink, takes a little bit to dry. So what I wouldn't want to do would be to right away stamp that and then right away turn it over and put adhesive on it, because then it might smear the ink and might also get the ink on my work surface, which I don't want to do. This guy I have to just cut a little bit because it is it's going to bleed off the edge. Also this, I have to cut this off the edge. I do not like to have things bleed off the edge in my traveler's notebooks, because then what happens is they just end up getting totally mushed. Totally mushed. Alrighty. Oh! Okay. Hey, hang on 1 second, friends. I need to see if I can grab Nick. And I need him to run downstairs for me because well, wait, maybe I have another one of those already. Do I? Oh, I do not. Okay. Hang tight. Hang tight. Hold please. Hold please. Yeah? Yeah. Can you do me a favor? Yeah. I need one of the big Easy Runner refills. The red, the red thing? Yeah. Okay. They are. They're on the pegboard. Okay. Nick to the rescue in a minute. All right. He will grab me one of those. And how about that? I can tell him exactly what it is, and he knows what it is. That's just because.
Crazy things happen.
What?
It's like a steel trap. It goes in and
Oh, geez. Okay, whatever. Anyhow, oh my gosh. Oh, because during the pandemic, well, Nick's in sales, so super flexible schedule. During the pandemic, he worked from home the entire time, and he would help me pull orders because that was all very new, and it was kind of lots of orders and things like that. So he still knows some of the product, right? Why won't you see the answer to a question? Because Nancy, because the chat goes so fast during the giveaways like this. I mean, it's there. It's just the chat goes so fast, I would totally miss it. It just is because people are, chatting away to win a prize. That's why. When there's not a prize in play, then things, slow down quite a bit, and then I can see it. All right.
we need to show everybody how to do this on the screen.
Do you want to show everybody how to do that on the screen?
I don't know if you need me to show you.
I know how to do it, but if you feel like you'd like to have a little camera time, you're more than welcome.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
I don't need camera.
You don't need camera time? All right, here you go. Thank you. Thank you, dear. Okay, don't wake the cat. No, leave him.
Alright.
Nick, leave him. Please don't wake the cat. You know what happens when the cat awakens? He will be right here in with all of us. Okay, sorry, friends.
Get locked in the laundry like you did last night.
Yeah, oh boy, I tell you what. Well, you'll see this in the next list. I'll tell you about Reggie in the next list. Little turd. All right. So, Reggie's the cat. If you don't know, he's not a child. Although you would think he is. You'd think he's like a terrible 2 child. All right, now we're in business again. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay. Put this in there. So sometimes, usually when I get kind of into the second half, I'm right now at the half point in my Traveler's Notebook insert. Sometimes I will work off the page like that. Sometimes it's just easier. All right, boy, I'm giving you lots of room for chat, aren't I? I'm not really trying to do that on purpose. I just got to get everything cleaned up. All right, let's talk about what our next list is while I'm doing this one. Our next list is What a Day. What a Day is another very much a time capsule list. Basically, I pick a day and I write a list of what I did that day. It's just kind of a neat thing to compare. I do it every month. Most of the time, I just pick a generic day. I don't want it to be like some special day, I want it to be a generic day. But this one's a special day. But it's actually a little bit of a different way than I've done this list in the past. Because I'm doing a now and then. But the now and then is just one day apart. It'll make sense when I get there. All right. Okay, we're just about done. I just about have everything cleaned up, friends. And as soon as I have it cleaned up, I'm going to stop and scroll my finger, and then that person will win the giveaway. This is me stamp set. That's the giveaway. This is me stamp set. I actually did years ago in a collaboration with my friend Christine from Pop Daisy Art, and that is all her writing. All of it is her writing, so super fun. Okay, so that prize is going to go to Paula Crafts. Paula Crafts. Congratulations, Paula Crafts. So Paula, please send an email to lailbymail@gmail.com. And the subject line, put winner, this is me stamp set. In the body of the email, please put your name, address, and we will get your prize shipped probably in, I'm going to say about next week. Lots of orders right now, so we'll get that shipped once they kind of get caught up on orders. So Paula Crafts, congratulations, Paula. Now, if you're not Paula, don't be sad yet, because the after party prize will also be This Is Me, all right? So anyone can participate in the after party. You have to be here live to win the live prize because it's a live prize. But after party prize, anyone can participate in. And that one, you just leave a comment on the video when it's over. And before we're together again Saturday morning, I will win a prize. I'll pick one random comment, and that person will win. This is me stamp set. All right, friends. So if I missed anything in the chat that you wanted me to see, now things will kind of slow down a little bit. So just type it again, and I'll see it. Okay. I know. Look at all the purple from all the crowns. That's a hard word to pronounce. Crayon. I need to add that to my list. Crown. All right, next list. What a day. So this is kind of what a day vacation. Marion, the pen stand, this guy, right? I used to carry these, Marion, and I don't anymore. This one is called Stash and Store. So you can search for Stash and Store, and you would find it somewhere online. I know there are other names for this, but I don't know what other people call them. That's the brand that I used to carry, was Stash and Store. All right, second list. This is also a 2-pager. Can you heat set the ink on the photo? Jennifer, I have no clue. I have no clue if you can do that. I would say, and I'm not the good person. It depends on, I believe, because I don't do mixed media, but I think a lot of it depends on the ink that you use. And I really don't know. I'm going to say no. If you heat set that with photo paper, I'd be worried about what the heat might do to your photo. But I'm not the expert on any kind of heat setting because I don't ever use that. So I would test that on something that you don't care if it gets ruined. What paper did you use? Irene, this is from the Smiles for Miles collection. It is linked in the description box of the video under what I am using. Let me take a quick sip of water here. My throat is feeling a little strained. Jillian, so interesting that you asked that question. Jillian asked, any idea when you'll be releasing the 2026 year in review kit? Just this afternoon from my graphic designer. I got the mood board. So very exciting to see. This year with the year in review kit, it will be all Lail by Mail product again. So brand new product, but all my own product. That usually comes out the end of December for pre-order, and it ships kind of mid to end of January. And then we do class the beginning of February, and our first list that we do is the January about last month. So end of December. All right. Holly, I love it. Holly Noel said, I love your mini book project kits, just ordered 3. And Jillian, you can't wait. I know that is my second best-selling project kit every year. So year in review is the second one, and the first one is the December documented. I didn't even take a drink. So Flora said she would not heat set it. It will warp. All right. So, yeah, from someone that I'm sure knows more than I do about heat setting. Okay, now we go. There we go. Okay, next list is what a day, but it is what a day then and now, because there's a huge difference between my first what a day and the next day. So what a day is a list that we do once a month. And like I said, I pick a day and I make a list of what I did that day. But this is vacation. This is day after vacation. What a day. So they're very different. I thought that might be kind of fun. And it would switch things up a little bit. So today is the 28th. We were on vacation on Saturday the 26th, and then we took the red eye. So the 27th is a little bit of a different day than a normal day. I thought it'd be fun to kind of compare and contrast those. So we're starting with the What a Day stamp set. The What a Day stamp set has all of your months, January through December. You have all of your numbers. There is only one 6 and no 9, or there is only one 9 and no 6. So same exact number, you just flip it upside down. We talked about this before and I don't remember what these are called. The TH, the RD, the ND, and the ST. So for like the 26th TH. You have some handwritten words in my handwriting. You have some word strips, and you have like a little rating system there. All right. So we need that. And then I am also doing opposites attract for then and now. So I am using all of my stamps I store in my stamp storage sleeve. So that's what you're seeing here. You've seen me pretty much on every one that I've used. I have a white piece of cardstock that I put in behind the stamp. And then when I go to pull the stamp out, I put the white piece of cardstock in front. Putting that in front helps to separate the sticky from the top of the stamp to the sticky of the stamp sleeve. And then it pulls out very easily. Like that. All right, so we have then and now. Oh, I'm going to grab this. We'll put that on there. That I just grabbed out a little clear plastic acrylic frame. I don't know if Tabitha's still here. That was Tabitha's idea. Oftentimes I'm like, oh, I wish I had a place that I could just put the stamp so that it's right there when I'm ready to use it. And she said, oh, I use something like that. That's just like a cheap little dollar store thing. All right, so then and now. Am I using pattern paper here? Let me look. I was planning on using products from my postcards and passports collection. Holy cow, you guys. I've just reordered the die cuts a third time. A third time I've reordered the die cuts. You guys people keep buying it. So that's the nice thing about this collection. It is all, except with the exception of the washi, all produced in the US. So it makes it really easy for me. Well, easy. I have to order certain quantities, but easier for me to reorder when I need to, as opposed to if they were overseas. Now, sometimes things are overseas, and that's the way it is. But I have a couple of different. I've worked my way into several packs of the die cut icons, just because sometimes I use the ones I want to use, and I want to use them again. All right, but you know what? We could use that. We could use that washi that we didn't use before. All right, so let's see here. I think I can probably get enough color, from stamping in color, and then the washi and the icons. So my thought was, let me look at my sketch over here. Look at, dude, I'm such an artist. I mean, look at that. That rendition, it looks exactly like the one I created. Like, I draw beautiful flowers, don't I? No, horrible. But that's what I do ahead of time, so I at least have an idea on most lists on what I'm doing. Even this one, you might be like, what's her idea? You'll see. But this one, so I thought what I would do would be 26 then, and then now 27. So maybe kind of work it like that. We'll see. Let's do our outlining first. Yes, Mimi, I am doing What a Day for 2 days. I am doing it for the 26th and 27th. The reason I decided to do that, as I was thinking about my last couple of days, the 26th was vacation, so that's a totally different type of What a Day. And then we took the red eye. So the day after vacation was a little bit different than a normal day after vacation day, and really, because it was the red eye, quite a bit different than any other day. So I thought it might be fun to do that, kind of doing a then and now paired with a What a Day. So if now goes up here, and then goes down here, and then we have, ooh, don't like that sound, put that over there. Then we need July. So let's grab our little July here. And then I need the 2, 6, and the 2, 7. What a Day stamp set, especially those of you that have been traditionally like a planner person, that you work in a planner and you like to do a lot of journaling in your Archer and Olive notebook or whatever it is. This outside of What a Day is just a great all-purpose stamp set, because you have all the months, you have numbers, you have some really fun generic words like best day ever, unforgettable, forgettable, bunch of word strips and things. So it's just kind of a nice all-purpose stamp set. 26 and 27. All right. So, oh, look at, that's another one. Didn't clean it off very well last time. That's gonna, well, it won't require elbow grease because I'll use the stamp cleaner, but before I get too far into this, I'd like to just figure out where I want to put things. If I used this to separate, like if I do my number up there and separate that up here and then maybe separate, I don't know, we'll see. All right, so I need, ooh, what a day. Let me look and see how I normally do this. See, even sometimes I refer back to the idea book. All right, so let's look. What a day. Oh, that makes it easy. Page 15. All right, so I do, did I pick that up? I did pick that up. I do the month and then stamp the little day of the day of the week and then the numbers. So with that in mind, July will come about right here. I think that's a good place to start. And then that means this needs to start right here. Do I need to go up one more? Actually, I better go up a little bit taller. I think I will. Okay. So now we need to figure out colors. This is the color palette I'm working with because that's the color palette from, this is the color palette from Postcards and Passports. Oh, sorry, Queen Bee. I saw that earlier and I didn't answer. Nuun. N-U-U-N. They're little electrolyte tablets. And I like the, I think, strawberry lemonade one. I think it is. Ms. L gets the point across. I'm a better artist than you think. Yeah. I cannot draw to save my life. Oh, Kristen, I need to do a list, the vacation I planned versus the vacation I got. Oh, that's a great one. I love it. That's a really good one. Okay. All right. So keeping in mind, that is our color palette right there, right? So we'll put that there. Now let's look for, I think basically two different, I think I want to stick with two colors. I think this will be a color and this will be a color. I don't want to do too many different colors or I think it can get a little nutty. Oh, you know what? Hang on. Is it in here? I had at one point swatched out the inks. Did I print it out? I had swatched out the ink colors that matched. Well, on the website, it tells you and it shows you a photo. Oh, here it is. Yes. There we go. Now, I have to say, printers sometimes have a very difficult time with like a teal. That salvaged patina looks very different in real life, but the rest of them are pretty close. I don't know why printers have a hard time, but it's something about that color. Where's that one? Because I think I would like to use salvaged patina as one day. It's so funny, that word salvaged. I feel like I have to enunciate salvaged. Salvaged. I think that would be a fun one. So if we did salvaged patina, and, you know, maybe we'll do broken china with it. Let's look. And then they would both be blue. Salvaged patina, broken china. Let's do those. Okay. And that you can find on the website. I also do the same thing. I started doing that, I think, with summer, fall season pass. So if you're wondering what ink colors coordinate, I've swatched them. And those are always distress oxide. Well, distress oxide. All right, so get our stamping blocks out here. I know I need a couple. I know I need this one for our numbers. I need that. Nope, that won't work. Oh, I know it'll work. Oh, that will work for my long words. And then I need a little teeny guy for July. Again, you don't have to have all the different sizes of stamping inks. However, It definitely makes life easier, in my opinion. If you right size. Okay. Oh, Kristen, you broke your elbow on. You broke your elbow cycling on day 2 of your staycation. Oh, Kristen, I am so sorry. Oh, how painful. I mean, I can't even imagine. I'm so sorry. Surgery? Did you have to have surgery? I'm gonna stop doing that for a second. I need one more little tool here. I need a pencil board. All right, pencil board. Pencil board is a fancy name for something that you put underneath something else in order to give yourself a flat surface to stamp on. All right, there are now 2 sizes. This is the pencil board. It's not called the original, but it's the original one, the one I've had for a couple of years. This is a brand new one. It is an A5 size. So one is bigger, it's taller and wider, so you kind of know if you need a bigger size, right? I use this one for all my traveler's notebooks because it's sized for that. But anyhow, I want to put this underneath here. Now, I need to be a little bit careful of right here. So, whole idea for a pencil board. There are things that I've done over here, also over here, that could cause me problems when I'm stamping. What I mean by that is if I add die cuts or sometimes even stickers, it can be a little bulky underneath, especially if part of where I'm stamping has that sticker or die cut and part doesn't. So that gives me a flat surface. Ooh, well, you can still see that's July. All right, July, and then I do, what comes next? Should have left that open. Then the days of the week. This little guy next. This long guy, I guess. All right, need another stamping block for that one. Have you done one a day with me before? Just curious. That is another really easy if you're just getting started. Creative listing, that's another one. Just pick a day. Doesn't matter when it is, right? Just pick a day and make your list about what you did. This is going to go right here. My day of the week. Oopsie. And then I need my 26. Okay, here's my 2. On surgery, can't craft the way I want to, but this is helping me kill some time. So thank you. Oh, Kristen, I'm so sorry. Well, I'm glad I'm able to help you take your mind off of that. That is, oh, such a bummer. Such a bummer. Sam, who's now 24. Oh, okay. So this is why I test stamp. I can already see that, but there is something on there. Let's see if you can see this. Do you see that weird little blip right there? There is something on my stamp, a little piece of hair or lint or something that is preventing the ink from sticking there. So I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to dry it. Again, super important to dry it. And in fact, it's salvage patina that is probably the one that I find reacts with water or moisture the most. It tends to get a little bit of weird blue in it if you do not dry that off really well. Uh-oh. Whew. Or green. It just does something really weird. Okay, all better now. So yes, Sam, our younger son, 24 and a half. He broke his elbow when he was barely 2, just barely. Now, I learned something then. I learned that when I was Judgy McJudgerson at the playground all the years before and saw a child with a cast, I think, oh my goodness, what is wrong with those parents? Like, how is that? What are you doing? How are you neglecting your child? You're not watching them if your child can break a bone. Oh, yep. And then I took it all back. I ate my words. Because when Sam was 2, it was Christmas Eve, Christmas Adam. We were at our house. We were having soup. We were all sitting at the bar. And Sam was sitting on a bar stool. Nice sturdy bar stool, metal back and everything. I was sitting next to him. I stood up, turned to the refrigerator to get the milk. I was getting him some more milk. And literally in the split second, I mean literally like 2 seconds that I turned around, he stood up and leaned backwards, and the bar stool fell over and he hit his elbow. And he was screaming bloody murder. Now, there's a little bit more to the story. It's like Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. Let me just stamp this. The rest of the story is that Sam had been diagnosed, I don't know, maybe when he was like a year old. He was just barely walking, year old, with nursemaid's elbow. So if you don't know what nursemaid's elbow is, he had it in both elbows. Their elbows pop out of joint, like very easily. And when that happens, their little arms just hang there because there's no, like the elbow pops out of joint. And so when the first time his elbow popped out of joint, I didn't know what the heck was going on. And it looked like there was something neurologically wrong because his arm was just dangling and it was like, oh, it looked weird. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then it like fixed itself. And I'm like, okay. And then it happened to the other arm. And I'm like, Nick, something is really wrong with Sam. Like, this is really bad. Like, there's some really bad neurological problem. So I said, I need you to go to the pediatrician with me because I'm not going to be prepared by myself to hear what she's going to tell us. So we go. And she's like, oh, yeah, no, really common. It's called nursemaid's elbow. And she said when they're young, when they're really little, sometimes their elbows will pop out of joint like that. And they call it nursemaid's elbow because it has, I guess, had to do with like the nursemaid back then, like would pick the kids up and their elbows would pop out. I don't know, whatever it was. So Sam had nursemaid's elbow. And she said, so it's really easy. I'm going to show you how to pop it back in. And my eyes got really wide and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. No way. And Nick said, okay, I'll do it. So she showed him how to do it. And it's really easy. You just hold on here and pop it back in or whatever. Okay, got it. So the next time it happened, Nick's like, I got this, right? Pops it back in. So it happened, I don't know, a couple more times in between then and when Sam fell and hit his elbow. So of course we think he's screaming, but he's holding his elbow. And Nick's like, oh, it's popped out. So Nick tried to pop it back in. Well, we learned the next day that Sam had actually broken his elbow, not nursemaid's elbow. And it didn't hurt it any. Well, I'm sure it hurt him physically trying to pop it back in when it wasn't out. It was broken, but it didn't do any damage. But yeah. So, I do not know, Kristen, what it's like to have a broken elbow. And I'm very sorry that it happened. I do know that when you have a little kid and they break their elbow, it's really hard to get them dressed. So I don't know if you're having a hard time getting it dressed. Joshua with his kneecap. So he has like nursemaid's knee. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, so, just kind of an interesting thing. All the things that you learn. All right. So I think this is going to go here. I think we'd like this little washi here. That's where we're going to pull all of our color. So on a lot of my lists, you'll see I use die cuts and pattern paper and all kinds of things like that. But you don't, I tell you, you don't need to have all those things, friends. You need to have something to write with and something to write on. Even a little bit of washi can add a lot of color, right? All right, so then this is going to say then. I think I'll end up using a die cut or two, but probably not very many die cuts on this. Interesting thing, when you have a longer word and you are stamping in something that you can't take the page out of, right? I can't take the page out of this. You just need to be thinking a little bit about where you want to place your stamp on your stamping block. So normally I think, oh yeah, guess what? It goes in the middle because then that's the easiest for me to handle. But when I am using a longer stamping block like this, I don't want to put it in the middle because what happens is I put that here and oftentimes that can create problems over here. If it's really high over here, then my stamping block won't be able to lay flat and I'll get a really odd stamped impression. So what I would do would be to left justify this or right. Right, not left. Left would make it even worse. To right justify this. So I put it on the stamping block more towards the right, and then I do that, and then my extra over here hangs off the edge and doesn't matter. And you know what? That's probably something that you don't do more than once. You don't make that mistake more than once. That's how I learned. You're like, oh shoot, whoops, and then yeah, too high. He does not. It does not still happen to him. So I think, and I don't know, I'm not sure if I remember this or I'm just saying it because I think it makes sense. You know how when you have infants and they have that little soft spot on their head and it takes a while for that soft spot to fill out? Little kids, their bones are also, I think, break a lot easier. I think that's probably the case with Sam and his nursemaid's elbow, that maybe the older you get, that kind of goes away. But I don't know. April said my mother had to have surgery because her knees did that all the time. When she was in the hospital having that surgery, she found out she was expecting me. Oh gosh. Okay, so some things maybe continue to happen as adults. Some people are really flexible. Osgood Slaughter disease, is that, I know I didn't say that the right way. Osgood Slaughter. My future daughter-in-law has that, where you're super flexible and you can hyperextend yourself very easily. Osgood Slaughter, I've only got part of that in there, sorry. And then we'll do then. Okay. Oh, all right. So, I'm not sure what I did there. I didn't apply even pressure. Let me show you what happened. But all is not lost. We can fix that easily. Do you see there how it didn't really stamp? Now, some of you might be like, oh, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. One of the reasons I like stamping with Distress Oxide ink is I love the really nice, like juicy coverage it gets. So that for me, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't like that. So I'm going to fix it. And I am going to fix it with, we'll try two different things here. A learning opportunity. Well, always learning opportunities, but I never cry when that happens because there's always a way we can fix it. So I have a couple different things here. I have a Q-tip. I have this little thing. I don't even know what this is called. And I have a very fine paintbrush. So basically what I'm going to try to do is paint in or fill in that area. If I do a toothpick, a Q-tip, you see I don't need both ends, right? So I can use the other end for something else. Oh, golly, Lil. I want to pick up a little bit of ink on that Q-tip, and I'm just going to come in here and carefully paint that in. Now, that works with my Q-tip because it's a pretty large stamp. If I had a small area that happened to, let me show you that. See, you won't even know. If I had a small area, like let's say that little area right there, or maybe that little spot up there, I could use a little smaller thing like that. That's just this little, I have those. I need to just put them on the website. I always forget until I go to use it. So that just gives me a little bit more stability if I want to paint that in. Or I could use a paintbrush. Now, if I'm using a paintbrush, I'm not adding water. I'm just using it dry. And I want to make sure it's a good quality paintbrush. This is not the time when you want to buy the 1,000 paintbrushes for $1 at the dollar store. That won't be, it's just the quality is not good enough. In that you need something really fine, and those are not fine enough. All right, so I used a combination of Q-tip, and then I filled in a couple of the other spots with this little guy. But see, that cleaned up very easily. So no reason to be sad. Now, I would not try to restamp that. And that is me. I wouldn't try to restamp it because I know it's going to happen. Even though it's clear and you can see, it just would not be dead on, and then it would look like a giant mess. To me, now, you could try that, and you might be like, that's fine, I don't care, it looks good. Or you might just say, Lael, I don't know what you're talking about. Why didn't you just leave it the way that it was, right? We all have different things that we like. If you're really nervous about trying to fix that, and you don't want to mess it up, two different things you could do. Number one, you could try to fix it, and it might be okay. But if it messed up, then all I would do would be to get out like a white piece of cardstock, stamp that again, and put it right over that. You would never know. No one's going to know, okay? It's one of those, no one's going to know. They're going to know. They're not going to know. No one's going to know. So you can always fix something, right? And then you'd say, well, I would start over. Well, I would say, don't start over. Life's too short for that, right? It's art. That's how we know it's art, when it's a little imperfect. So imperfect is okay. All right, so there we go. And now we're going to do the now over here. And I think all I'll do is maybe maybe I'll just do 27 down there. I won't do July again. I don't know, we'll see. I did just get a little bit of that ink right there. I just used a sand eraser. Okay, so sand eraser is just what it sounds like. There's a little bit of sand, so there's grit in that eraser. And then if you get like little fingerprints or little ink smudges, you can, generally get it off. Generally. All right, so now let's look at this. Now let's look at now. Aunt Recreate said, OMG, this would make me nervous. I'd be a wreck and probably mess it all up. So here's the thing. Practice makes perfect, right? Work on a piece of scratch paper and make mistakes, right? On purpose, make a mistake on a piece of scratch paper and see what happens. And then try to fix it and see what happens. The more you work with your stamps, the more comfortable you're going to get with them, right? So if you don't stamp very often, then I would be worried too. I'll tell you, way back in the day, well, actually not that long ago, I've only been stamping a lot within the last probably 6 years. And I had no clue what I was doing then, right? I had no clue. But yeah, that'll be a nice contrast. It's not too much darker. I really had no clue. But I just used stamps a lot and I learned things. That's how we learn, is by trial and error, right? So if you don't want to trial and error on your project, trial and error on a, just mess around on a piece of scratch paper. You'll learn a lot that way. All right. So, hang on. I'm going to grab no, never mind. No, hang on. I'm trying to decide. I'd like to have a clip here. I think if I have a clip, it makes it a little bit easier. Just clip this page down. Maybe not. Or have a traveler's notebook insert. If you like to work in a traveler's notebook, then have a traveler's notebook insert that you just play around in. Because there are some things that are a little bit different in a traveler's notebook than working on a piece of scratch paper, right? Because working on a piece of scratch paper, it's flat. Working on a piece of scratch paper is flat. If you're working in a book, it's not necessarily as flat, right? So you need just you know what I mean. Try to recreate the environment that you're stamping in as closely as you can when you're testing. There we go. Then and now. So just a slight color difference, right? Not too different, just a little bit. Just an itty bit. April said, my adult son has hyperflexibility in his joints. I always wonder if it's related to mom's knees. Did anybody get me the Oscar Schlatter's, whatever that is? I don't know if you guys have heard that. Yeah. So, Kristen, did you have to go in an ambulance? Were you by yourself? That'd be the scary thing. You're by yourself. That would, like, freak me out, right? Aunt Recreate said, that's smart. I've never been a big stamper, but learning that practice makes it better. Yep, absolutely. All right. And so now my 27th is going to go down here. Where's my 2? Oh, I put the 2 away. I did put the 2 away. All right. But really quickly, I have 2. We'll do our 2 first. And then I'll do my washi up here above it. How about that? How about them apples? So normally, always, I've always only done a one day. This is the first time I've done a 2-day. But again, there's kind of a reason for the 2-day, and I think it would just kind of be fun because of the red eye, which was not fun. Not fun. Okay. So we were in Maui for Nick's business trip, and then and we always fly Delta because we're Salt Lake, and there's a Delta hub in Salt Lake, so that's generally the easiest to do and least expensive and all that. 2-7 Maui. There aren't a lot of flights. Well, when you're going to fly to Hawaii, oh no, not the 6th, Lyle, not the 6th, the 7th. And I think it's because it's a long flight from LA. It is like 5.5 hours or something. So we fly from Salt Lake to LA and then LA to Maui. Now, sometimes, depending on where you're going in Hawaii, you can get a direct from Salt Lake. But, so, when we fly to Honolulu, there is a morning flight out of Honolulu. But I don't think there was a morning, I don't know, I don't remember. Ooh, that's got a lot of black on it. Okay, there we go. So I just used that stamp cleaner. Normally I don't use stamp cleaner. Like when I stamp the 2, it's still wet, so it wipes right off. But in a case like that where I have not cleaned it and it's black, then it helps that I find that stamp cleaner really helps. All right, 27. Anyhow. Oh, there you go, Mary C. Plans. I'm doing the what a day weekday versus weekend day. Oh, right. That's a great compare and contrast, right? Because in a lot of cases, if you have I guess it just depends, right? If you're working a traditional like Monday through Friday job and not working on the weekends, then the weekend is very different than a weekday, right? That's a fun idea. Whoopsie. Oh, I bobbled it just a little bit. You probably can't see it, but Pam said, this makes me want to invest in stamps. I love the different color ink pads. So you use the perfect word there, Pam, and it's invest, right? I mean, if you're doing something like this, if you have letter stickers and number stickers, they absolutely work, right? Letter stickers, number stickers, all of those things work very well. There's pros and cons about both, right? Letter stickers, number stickers, way faster, right? I mean, they go way faster. We'd be done by now. Problem with those is they are You have to keep replenishing them, right? Because you run out of the 2's and you run out of the N's and the S's and the T's. And the other issue is that you might not have 72 different colors of alpha stickers, but you can certainly have 72 different colors of inks. So if you're stamping, so definitely more of an investment. Absolutely. Stamps are more of an investment. However, over time, they, can actually, overuse can be quite a bit less expensive because if you take care of them, they will take care of you. And by take care of them, I mean, always clean them after you use them, put them away. Yeah. Pam said, right, and the stickers bulk up the journal. Right, then they do sometimes, right? Sometimes, well, definitely more so than stamps. Because stamps are flat. They will not bulk anything up at all. And thank you. She said, I love your channel. Thank you, thank you. I think. Oh yeah, lost that for a minute. All right. So now we're just do our little thing here. Now, some of you I know don't have any washi at all. Oh, interesting. I missed the green over there. Some of you don't have any washi at all. Haha. Some of you have enough washi to go around the world 18 times, right? A lot. You're a collector of washi. Maybe you don't use washi as much. Easy ways to use washi. All right, so before I get too much further, I would like to just quickly add a couple of die cuts. Just to add a tiny bit more color in here. So I know I can already see the sun. A sun, I mean, it could be easy. I could just do a sun and a cloud. So these are from my Postcards and Passports collection. And then we have an airplane. So I'm thinking that is what I'm going to do. We'll keep it pretty simple. I'm not doing too much here, just a little bit. Maybe we'll do an airplane and a little suitcase. Like that. I know we've got little stars and geotags too that maybe could work their way in, but we'll start with that. How about that? All right, so over here. We'll put that there. I'm going to grab my little tape. What was 2 is now 1. So this is our second list. I'm doing one a day, but for 2 days. Normally I just do 1 day. But I thought this would be kind of a fun compare contrast. And someone said they do weekday, which would be a lot of fun. But generally this is a list I do once a month. And if that's too much for you, you could do it every other month. You could do it twice a year. We'll leave that out for a sec. All right, let's look. So then maybe this comes. Right there. I think that works. Okay, get our little adhesive on here again. And some of you say, oh, Lael, every single day is the same for me. And I say, oh, come on. Like, do you read different books? Do you watch different shows on TV? Do you sometimes walk at the mall and sometimes walk in your neighborhood? Sometimes walk on the treadmill? Do you eat the same thing every day? And you could have, I ate lunch on there, but you could say what you had for lunch. Maybe some days you go to the grocery store. Maybe some days you listen to your favorite vinyl album. And you want to add that there. All right. So now I am ready for my list. I think what I might do is one more thing. I do need to do one more thing here. I need to make a little separator line here because it will blend in. I'll do 2 little separator lines. It'll blend in a little bit too much with my writing. And then I'm going to do the same thing here, but just kind of break that up a little bit. That little 6-inch metal ruler, if you're working in a small space, is a lifesaver because it is nice and thin and then it's short. So you're not trying to, deal with a ruler that's in multiple places. Okay, there we go. Oh, last thing I need to do here. The 26th was a Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. We'll just do that. And then the 27th. Oh, well, I didn't do those there, so that's fine. We just did a little double underline there. Okay, last thing I need is a bullet stamp again. Oh, maybe. No, actually, I won't do a bullet stamp. I'm just going to write them like this. Oh, I still want a bullet stamp. Sorry, just don't mind me as I'm thinking about this. Ooh. Well, look at that. Could be fun, that little sun guy, right? The little sun. And I have an airplane. There we go. We're going to go very literal here. So let's take this little guy. Now this one might be a little bit bigger than fits on my stamping stylus. So let's look. Oh no, it'll work. It will work. All right. Quick thing about your bullet stamps. If you have a stamp that has a direction to it, like clearly my son's stamp has a direction, whereas the flower that we used here didn't have a direction. You can't see very well because it's so small when you are stamping to make sure it's in the same direction every time. However, if you line or orient your stamp here in relation to the little squirrel label here, you can see the squirrel label. So as long as you're watching and the squirrel label's in the same place every time, the placement of your little bullet stamp will always-ish, be in the same place every time. Now, what I might like to do is do a yellow. But I do know that from past experience, the yellow is like squeezed lemonade. We'll never see that. Mustard seed is real. Let's look. I really would like to use squeezed lemonade, but. Let's see what happens. I think it might just be too hard to see. Oh yeah, see that? You can't even really see that it is a sun. It was just going to look like a blob unless you can see it really close. So we can't do that. We cannot do that. So what if we picked another yellow? What if we picked fossilized amber? Or maybe mustard seed? I don't know. We'll try mustard seed and see what that one looks like. Yellow's hard unless you have a stamp that's a little bit more solid, has a little bit more room to it, surface area to it. Oh yeah, look at that. Like huge difference. That will work. It's not the same yellow, but that's okay. Okay, hold on. Let me look and see how many things I have on my list. This has got to go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, not that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. So I'm going to have to put a word strip sticker here. I'll add something in a minute, but we'll start here. Let me erase those now. We'll just say this is the one we want to do right here. Let me erase these guys. Alrighty. So now we will try this guy again. Ooh, okay. That stylus makes it so easy. Oopsie. Unless you start going too fast, like I am, and not paying attention. It's all right. Okay, so here we go. First thing, Starbucks. Actually, we were long line for Starbucks. Then we did a 1 hour walk along the beach path. So when we go to Maui, we stay in Wailea, and there is a beautiful path that runs quite a while along the beach, and that is like, this is every single day on this trip. Starbucks in the hotel, and then this walk along the beach. So I think on that trip, the fewest amount of steps I had, I think, was about 12,000. I think the most one day I had about 17,000. That's when I go on vacation, that is always part of it. I walk way more on vacation than I do at home, which is kind of crazy. All right, then we came back to the hotel. To pack. Then we were poolside until 4 o'clock. Then, okay. Well, I've got to come back in here. Then we had lunch. We had lunch in between. That's okay. Lunch. Had lunch on the lounge chair. Here, I'm going to do this. We'll do pool. I just put until 4 o'clock, so then it's not as weird as that. Lunch on the lounge chair. And then lots of reading and relaxing. And then showered. I'm just going to call it in the post-checkout room. It's not uncommon for hotels in Hawaii to have a room that you can shower in, and it's not like a hotel room. It's almost like a locker room at a gym that have almost little separate rooms in it. And the little separate room, there's a door and there's a toilet and a sink and a shower. But because there are a lot of red-eye flights, and if you're checking out of your hotel at noon, then you're kind of, yeah. So did that. And then we had dinner early at Paella Fish Market, which is one of our favorite places to eat there. And then we went to the grocery store. For coffee and macadamia nuts to bring back to people. And then we drove to the airport. And then we had a 9 o'clock p.m. red-eye flight. Right, so that was that day. Then we have this. Then we have the 27th. So the 27th, because I'm still awake is part of the red eye flight. Now, I need to figure out how many I have here. Hopefully I have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-ish, 12. Okay. Oh, actually, I can do those in one. Okay, so 11. And we got to see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then a word strip. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to move this little pencil out here and then come in and erase these little pencils. And I've done a lot with postcards and passports, and design team has done some projects as well. So if you are just now seeing the postcards and passports collection, when you go to my website, you will see different projects that I've done, the design team has done using the postcards and passports collection. So if you're looking for a little inspiration there. All right, so here, oh, okay, we need the airplane now. I need my other little bullet stamp now. Yes, lots of mileage. Yes. Now, for Nick, because he's on business, his company pays for his flight, so he's accruing all those miles. Since I was going not on business, I used miles because I have loads of miles. And so either way, lots of miles. But yeah, that's what, when you travel a lot, and I also, pretty much everything for my business, all the product, everything, I use my American Express card for, and it gets paid off every month. And some months when I go to pay the bill, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. But, I have the money in my business account, but I figure I might as well get something from spending all that money to buy product. And, but then also traveling. So I get a lot of miles, which makes it nice when you or something like that. It's like, oh yes, I can basically fly to Hawaii for free. It's not really free, because not really free, but... All right, the airplane. You know what? We might as well just embrace the pink. Let's just embrace the pink. Let's go with... let's go with... What time is it? Oh, goodness. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much longer we go, friends. How about Kitsch Flamingo for our airplane? I had to think about how I set this guy up here, right? Because we want our airplane to be flying, not crashing. It could be that way, or it could be up in the air that way. That's how I would like it. So I need to make it a little bit more up in the air. You know what I mean by flying, not crashing? That way. Because if I go this way, then it's, if it's tilted that way, then it's, kind of, I don't want it to, I would just like it to fly. It's going to fly. It's going to fly in the air. All right, so we have 11 of these guys. I'm sure I just completely lost a train of thought at some point there. Apologies. That tends to happen at night. It's been a long day. You'll see why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I easily lose my train of thought at night. But also, when I'm like designing and talking and, all that at the same time, thinking about what I'm doing, sometimes I just squirrel a lot. I squirrel. Oh, there we go, Gigi. Guess what, Gigi? That's where we were. We were at the Wailea Marriott, the hospitality lounge. Yes, we've been in the same hospitality lounge in the same hotel. Yeah, the Wailea Marriott. That's funny. The hospitality lounge, the post-checkout room. Oh, golly, yeah. Very good with my words. Very good with my words. Post-checkout room. Hospitality lounge, yes. I know, you guys, it's late. It gets late, especially if you are East Coast. Carrie, have a good night. And have a good training session. A trainee working. Yes, have a good training session with your trainee tomorrow. Ankle and day. No idea what that is. That's funny when I come in the conversation at one point. Jackie. Okay. Jackie said, Well, I dropped the stamp on the sheet, so now I have to change the look, have to add paper. I have done that. And I think it was last year. Do you suppose I could find it? I rolled with it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, I'm like, well, guess what, friends? We're not going to fix it. We are going to embrace it and run with it. Now, it is definitely not my favorite list I've ever done because it looked a little odd to me. But I'm like, you know what? No time to start over. There's no reason to start over. It's fine. Just a piece of paper. I don't know. My friend Vicky says, just a piece of paper in your time, right? So, I'm not going to restart it. I'll look really quick. If I can find it, great. If not, you'd probably, if you saw it in the idea book, because it doesn't tell you what happened. If you watch the video, it tells you what happened. But if you saw it in the idea book, you'd be like, what? What is that? Maybe. But maybe it wasn't this year. Anyhow, so what I did was, no, it wasn't. Anyway. I just made more marks. I dropped it a few more times on there. All right. So now, a tablet said, I'm hanging in there. I can't wait to talk about the hard to pronounce words. Yeah, we're for sure going to do that. We have to, right? We have to. We'll go until 10. So my time, it's 9:08 right now. We're just about done with this. Okay. So on this list, we arrived in Los Angeles at 4:40 a.m. Arrived at LAX. 4:40 a.m. Oh, that's early. So, now you're going from east to west and you're with the air current. And so it doesn't quite take as long. It takes about 5.5 hours to get there. It takes 4 something to get home or back to LA. And so in between, having something to eat and whatever, by the time you're not getting much sleep. And then there was also a baby that was a couple rows in front of us that screamed the whole time. So right at LAX 4:40 a.m. Similarly, we stopped at Starbucks because that's early. Need a coffee. Stopped at Starbucks. Then we landed in Salt Lake. Landed in SLC. I think it was about 8:45 a.m. I want to say. Took an Uber home. Took a nap. At least tried. I am not a good napper. So, I don't know. Fitful nap. Then unpacked and did laundry. And then we had a late lunch. Worked on list with me email blast because that had to go out for tonight. And then did some reading. And dozed. Then I got ready for bed and could not fall asleep. And finally fell asleep at 12:30. Which, when you're on the red eye, you get a few hours sleep, tried to nap, and then fall asleep at 12:30. I was still on 4-hour time difference. So 4-hour time difference. And then Reggie, the cat, Reggie, Sir Reginald, little turd. Reggie woke me up 5 times. Starting at 12:45. Until about 5:30 when Nick finally locked him in the laundry room. because I was about ready to cry. I was so exhausted I couldn't even see straight. All right, so just about done. We need word strips. Don't need those word strips. We have word strips. We have word strips in postcards and passports. So what would we like to do? Seize the vacay. I think seize the vacay is perfect. Basically, we seized the vacay. I mean, we seized every last minute of it, which is kind of nice about doing a red eye, right? You can hear Nick in the kitchen again. Apologies. You're getting like squeezing out as much time as we could, right? And then over here, let's see. Work, save, travel, repeat. How about that? Because now it's like, okay, we want to just keep going. We do have another trip. August. I'm going to separate these two. August 6th. I'm going August 6th to the 21st. That is a trip that Nick and I have been saving for 11 years. Because that's the last time I was there. I had an amazing opportunity while I worked for Simple Stories to teach in South Africa. And loved every minute of it. And when I came back, I said, Nick, one day we are going to South Africa. And we decided about 2 years ago that we were going to go to South Africa to celebrate our 30th anniversary. So we are heading to South Africa in, 2 weeks from Wednesday. All right, so here we go. There is my What a Day, Then and Now. Totally different way than I normally do What a Day. If we look at What a Day idea book, we'll show you. Let me go over here. That's what it usually looks like. Sometimes there's a 1 page. Sometimes there's a 2 page. If you don't want to do a 1 page and you want to do 2 pages, you can add a little quote on the second page. Today is a good day to have a good day. You can decorate the second page like I did there, or decorate the second page like I did there, or decorate the second page like I did there. Or sometimes I just have single pages. Whatever you want to do. All right, we are ready now for our third one. Now, let me get these things put away. Our third list, I'm not sure this is going to work. We're going to see. We will see how this works. Our third list is words that are hard to pronounce. This is something that someone added to the Lael by Mail Facebook group a couple of weeks ago. And it was a hilarious discussion. People were, putting in their 2 cents about words that were hard to pronounce. And it was very funny. So, I had some things on my list, and then I'm like, oh, what else is hard to pronounce? So, I actually Googled words that are hard to pronounce. And that was a really good spot for me to go, because there's a ton of words, but some words I'm like, I know how to pronounce that. Charcuterie, I can pronounce that. But there were other words that I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I always have a hard time with that one. So that is our last list. Words that are hard to pronounce. Whether you're listing with me or not, I would love to know what would be on your list of words that are hard to pronounce. Some of them are also words that are hard to spell at the same time. Words that are hard to spell and pronounce. The top one on my list, and I think the top one on at least the list that as people were piping in on in the Facebook group, Worcestershire, Worcestershire, blah blah. Again, I have a very difficult time with that. I don't know. Worcestershire. Anyhow, yes, that's mine. That's my biggest one. And I always overpronounce it on purpose. Worcestershire, that's it, right? Worcestershire sauce. Now I do have them spelled correctly. Some of them I may pronounce correctly, some of them I may not. So if you know how to pronounce it and I have mispronounced it, it's okay, right? It's all right. So what are some things? So let's see. Tabitha said rural. Rural is also on my list. Rural, that's a hard one. Anemone. I think that's how you say that. Anemone and buoy. Anemone. I don't know. Interestingly enough, rural and anemone, if that's how you pronounce it, were on when I Googled common words that people find difficult to pronounce. Worcestershire sauce, not the sauce part, was also on there. If you are wondering how to spell that word, Worcestershire, there you go, Eva. WRCSTR. Yes, thank you, Eva. Eva put it in the chat. Oh, Nancy, that was another one that I saw. Otolaryngologist. I'm trying to remember what that was. I saw the definition because I had never heard that word. All right, so this is my thought. Playing with these guys. Like I said, this is either going to work really well or it is not going to work at all and it's going to be a giant mess. I am thinking, oh, you can't really see it now. You can't see my sketch. Basically, can you see that part where I've got this? I'm thinking about dragging the inks, those little squares, dragging the inks and see if that works. So I don't want to drag it directly on my insert for a couple reasons. The primary reason being that this list I wrote directly on the page. So if I drag the ink over here, there is going to be some shadowing or ghosting. And that shadowing or ghosting is going to potentially affect what I've done here. When I talk about shadowing or ghosting, if you're like, Lael, I don't understand, what is that? You can see a little bit. Do you see how you can see a little bit of that word now? Kind of shadowing or ghosting through on the other side. Now that's not bad. I am really holding it up, so I really am trying to get you to see that with some really bright light shining through. We really wouldn't see that. So if I wanted to write this list directly on the page itself, it would be fine. But I don't want to drag the ink because I'm pretty certain dragging the ink will definitely show on this side, and I don't want that to happen. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Don't know if it's spelled right? Yes, that's a good one. That is a good one from Mary Poppins, isn't it? I think. Karen also said Mississippi, Missippi, right? You want to say it that way because that's how we learned how to spell it in school. Tabitha planted anemone in her yard a few years ago and practice so you could say it. Did I pronounce it right? Jen's happy place. You call that guy your O doctor. Your laryngologist. Just part of it. Oh, rebake it. You've got a dinosaur obsessed kiddo. Dinosaur names are near impossible, right? Eva said gastroenterologist. Yep. All right. Okay. So because I'm not going to go directly on here, I'm going to get white cardstock out. This would probably also work. I'm going to say this would probably also work with black. Black. You could try it with black. When I trim this, I'm going to do something a little bit differently. I think this needs to be a 2-page list, but I'm also not really sure. I'm kind of really not sure. So we're just going to kind of work it together. We will figure it out together. So 2-page list. You know what I can do though? We can put down a color. Let's put something down. Let's just see what we have. Is there something in postcards and passports, since I have it handy, that is not travel? I mean, I know there are some that aren't travel. What if we did this one? That would just give us some nice color, right? As a background. So for this, I need 2 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 8, right? I mean, sorry. Yes, no, 4 3/4 by 8, because that's what I do. Or that's 10, Lael. 4. I love this color combination. I love like blush with orange. Oh, love it so much. 4 3/4. Now, with my collections, at least with my 2 collections so far, with postcards and passports, and then Dear December that you will see late August, and then also the season passes. Paper is all 12 by 12. Season pass paper will continue to be 12 by 12, but looking at working with my printer, looking at maybe doing some 6 by 8 paper packs next year in the paper craft or the paper crafting collections, my paper collections. And then in that case, I would still do 12 by 12, but then also do scaled down 6 by 8 because the pattern would be scaled down. Alrighty, okay. Quinoa, yes, Mimi, quinoa is also on my list. Now, that's one I used to be hard for me to pronounce. I know how to pronounce it now, but quinoa is definitely one that seems to be a word that is difficult for most, I think, of the population to pronounce. Quinoa, because it looks so different. Phthalate. What is that? Ms. L, tell us what that is. No clue what that is. Phthalates. All right, now this would be, let's see how much of that we want to be orange. Okay, so we want this to be pretty sure that's going to be 7. And I do 3 and, let's look at, I guess we need 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 and 3 3/4 is 7 1/2, right? 7 1/2. This will make a lot of sense in a minute. Just bear with me. So normally if I was doing a, we're okay. Normally let me back up. Normally if I was doing a white like that on both pages, I would cut the pieces independently, right? I'd put one there and one there. But what I'm thinking is because I'm going to drag the ink, I want to keep this whole. I'll drag the ink across and then I will separate it instead of, trying to do it separately. So, I don't know, friends. We're about ready to see what's going to happen here. I think what I should do first, we need to pick the colors first, right? So, we probably can fit, let's just pretend. 1, 2, 3. Can we fit 5? 4. If we really make it work, we can. Okay. So, I'm taking spun sugar, spiced marmalade, mustard seed, cracked pistachio, and how about, salty ocean. Those are my colors. Now, I'm going to try it first in my little tester because I don't really know if this is going to work or not. Gyro! Yeah, gyro! Gyros are yummy, aren't they? All right, so let's just see. Okay. So as I play with that a little bit, I want to try to get a little bit more of a consistent. We see this little thing right here, right? Can you see that kind of, that's where it kind of stops and then drags. I think that's going to be inevitable. I think that's just going to happen. So, we better do this. Now, what we may find, this may not be bright enough. Ooh, okay. Here's a very good example of how paper makes a huge difference. Okay, this is a nice smooth white cardstock. That looks so much better than what I tried to do here. You see how faint that was there? looks much nicer quality of paper. That's all that is. Now this is a, obviously a really inexpensive paper in a little, notebook. So your paper that you use can make a huge difference. Oh yeah, no, I don't want to use a dauber. I like, but Mimi, I totally could. You could do the same thing with a dauber, but you just end up with a circle effect. But I thought it would be fun because these little squares are like the perfect little size to do this. Now, I will probably test every color just to. Oh, we need to do this again. I don't want to, drag it onto my work surface. That would not be good. Ooh, all right. Now, I got a little bit too much room there. So that was interesting. That's okay. It's art, right? If we wanted it to be perfect, this is what we would do. If we wanted it to be perfect, we would use a piece of paper like that, and it would be perfect, right? So it's kind of fun. Willamette. I found out I've been pronouncing Willamette wrong in my head all these years on wine bottles. It's not pronounced Willamette. Willamette rhymes with damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Willamette. Willamette. I don't know how to know. April, isn't that funny? I can't figure that out. Did I say it right? Willamette? Willamette, damn it. Willamette. Willamette. Willamette? Did I get it? Willamette. Hey, like the Willamette Valley? Oh my goodness, look at what I just learned. April. I've been pronouncing it incorrectly as well. Isn't that funny? Oh, Mizell. Okay, the phthalate, that word you tried to teach us that I could not. Phthalate. Some harmful chemicals found in plastics. We now look for phthalate-free plastic now. Oh my gosh, we're learning so much. Ooh, yellow's gonna be pretty. You know what? I bet I can fit 6 now because I wasn't accounting for the, I was, on the size of the, the size of the, oh, that's good. That is a beaut. That's cracked pistachio. Oh, wow. Look at that. We're making our own pattern paper. Okay. Yes, there will be one more. 2 more. Did I get everything? Yep. Salty Ocean is next. I don't know. I feel like I should just test it every time. Oh, that's going to be another juicy. Like juicy fruit gum. You can make your own background paper this way, right? Okay, we've got room for 2 more. What's it going to be now? Oh, purple's going to make it in there. That's okay. We'll do prize ribbon. Okay. All right, we have room for a little purple. Little purple. Maybe we'll do shaded lilac next. Maybe? I don't know, let's see. Oh, then we end up with kind of a light and a dark. I mean, a light on the top and bottom, maybe. Sure, why not? Let's do that. Now this will kind of bleed off the page a little bit. Alrighty. There's the start of our list. We had to try that first. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's working. But we kind of had to try that before to make sure that it would work. Because I didn't know. We'll see. I know. Aunt Recreate said, no, not purple. I know. But it is. We did it. Other than that, it'd be like brown. Brown. All right. Vicky would be proud of me. She would be so proud of me. She'd be like, you go, Lael. Look at you go. If you don't know, what we're talking about. One of my best friends, Vicky Booten, she is the mixed media queen. I am the antithesis of that. I do no mixed media other than inking the edges of things. But this is a little bit mixed media, right? Gray would have worked. Yes, I could have done, no, grew. I thought you were saying gray. I couldn't see that. Gray, okay, got it. El Dorado. Is that how you pronounce it? El Dorado. Did not know that. Yeah, that would be a really pretty pattern paper in a season pass kit. Absolutely, it would. All right, and it kind of like that, right? So a little bit more watercolory and not watercolory looking, and not perfect, right? Not perfect. Any of you guys watch the Butterworth Days? I think that's his name on Instagram. Butterworth Days. Is that what it is? Perfect. Not perfect. Okay. Whoopsie. Don't move. All right. Now, that's why we did it together. Way easier. And then we just cut it apart. Now we have our left and our right page. All right. Now is where it's going to get interesting. Very, very interesting. Your Distress Oxide inks take a minute to dry. So, the ones towards the top will be drier than the ones towards the bottom, theoretically. But depending on how juicy they are, you might want to wait a second if you're doing something like this. Now, you could do this if you were working on like a 12 by 12 layout or something. You could certainly do this with your regular size, okay? Your regular size, but if I did regular size here, I'd get, maybe 3. That's where the little ones come into play. Those little new Distress Oxides. Now, the Distress inks have been around for a while in the little 1-inch size. The formulation, that's the word I was trying to say before. It took them quite a while to get the right formulation in the smaller size for the oxides. That's why they're available now. But Mimi had a good idea. You could use your little dauber to do something like this too. If you don't have the smaller ones and don't want to invest in the smaller ink pads, you could use these little guys, right? And then just do the same thing and just drag it. Okay, so April said, yes, Karen, I do have those inks. I have the inks and the tins as well, the little tins that they're stored in. And they are linked in the description box of the video under what I'm using. Ant recreates, I want to copy this. Darn, now I have to buy those little inks. So if you have the larger inks, like I said, you could use the little daubers. If you have little daubers, and you could, basically recreate the same thing. Now, April said, flip the page on the right so the stripes don't line up. You know what, April? I love your suggestion. My type A brain would have the hardest time with that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Now, I am going to use, I'm going to try the, that Zig Photo Signature pen. So, that is what I use. When did I use that? No, I don't even remember. I used that on something. Oh, I know. I used it to fill in a few of those letters that didn't quite stamp where I wanted them to. Because your Distress Oxides, they're very chalky. And if you've ever tried to write on something that you've stamped with a Distress Oxide ink, I find that it kind of soaks up. It just like soaks the ink right up. So I'm going to try to use this one and see what happens. And the way I'm going to try that is starting out with my little outlining here. Because for my list, for my writing, I've got to write on all of this. That's my plan. I'm writing my list on here. So this guy is going to be what I use. Now, I have a feeling that I'm thinking, and it's so late that I can't think and talk at the same time. Usually I can, but right now not happening. So I am not going to have enough words to fill this whole thing up with my title. So I am going to need to put some embellishments in here, like put some die cuts and things. So I'll have to figure that out. This made me smile. That could work somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. Title. So my title, I thought I would stamp the word words in Po Alpha large lowercase, and then I would write below it that are hard to pronounce. That's my plan. I know, Deborah, I did mixed media. Do you believe it? Yeah, I know. I dragged the ink pad. I know, mixed media can be whatever you want it to be, right? I challenged Lil to do that during another live when she said a chance to research some designs like that. Colorways are fun when switched up. You mean like that? I know. It would just, my poor brain. My poor brain, I don't know, but maybe it looks better that way, huh? It is kind of more fun that way. Do we just say, you know what, we're going to do it? Should we just do it? All right, I'm using my little lifting tool to try to, there we go. Pick that up. Little lifting tool. Those are on the website. I don't know, it is, oops, turn that way now, Lil. It is kind of fun that way, isn't it? It's just a little bit more visually interesting, isn't it? Okay, April, you got it. I agree. I think my brain can handle that. Maybe. We'll see. All right, so stamping, title, words that are hard to pronounce. Let's pull out our letters. Yes, it is still a balance because it is a reverse. I know, look at me, like who even am I tonight? I'm like doing mixed media and flipping things upside down. Like, I don't even know. Some of you are like, that have been with me for a while, are like, holy cow, woman, like what happened to you when you were in Hawaii? What kind of ancient alien picked you up when you were 10,000 feet in the Haleakala National Park? Picked you up and then put someone else down in your place. And those of you that are like, what's she talking about? Because you're brand new, just, you'll get to know me. You'll get to know me and know that I'm very type A. April said, applause for Lael stretching. Yes, right? Outside of my box, outside of my comfort zone. I very much live in a box, a comfort zone. All right. So, words. Now, here's the thing. There's two ways to stamp with alphabets or with letters, right? You can stamp the whole word at once on one stamping block, or you can stamp each letter individually. And I'm a control freak, so I prefer to stamp each letter individually. Jennifer, am I watching the right channel? I know, right? Is a Mercury's in retrograde? Whoever said that earlier, Mercury is in retrograde. That's what's happening here. This is Mercury in retrograde, whatever that means. All right. I prefer to stamp each letter individually because I like to control how close I can get my letters together. And when you're working with, well, even red rubber stamps, acrylic stamps, whatever, you have a little bit of material, a little bit of buffer around each individual stamp. And that buffer makes it for me that I can't get my letters as close together as I would like. So I stamp each of my letters individually. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all, well, not even roughly. We're just going to start to the left and just start. So here's my W. And you know I'm going to use black for this. I mean, what other color would I use? Anything else I tried to use, you wouldn't even be able to see. So We definitely want to test this. Definitely. That, by the way, I use Distress Oxides for pretty much all of my stamping with the exception of black, this is the only black I use, and that's that Versifine Clair by Sukaniko. That could be a difficult one to pronounce. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sukaniko, I think. It's a pigment ink. I just love the coverage. I love a really nice, strong, bold, solid black, and that is what that's going to give me. We know we need to start way over here because this is a long word. It's not really long. It's just, it has thick letters. Now, when I am stamping black on really anything that's oxide, it may end up looking a little bit gray, right? Because I have that chalkiness that is showing through and affecting the black a little bit. All right, but that's fine. That's fine. Oh my goodness, Lael. Look at me. I got a K in there. What am I thinking? Works. How about a D, Lael? Good thing I caught that. Thank you. Okay, I see you guys now are warning me. I see that in the chat. I'm like, you guys, you're not even like watching out for me. A, B, C. That's a B. That's a D. Oh. My brain has a hard time with the B's and the D's because when you put it that way, it looks like a B. Woo! Glad we caught that. Thank you. Nancy, did you pull a K? Mary C. Plans, you need a D, not a K. Thank you, friends. Gigi said that Drive to Hana unleashed something in my husband. Haleakala was great as well. Yes. Now, if you look at that Haleakala, you would think would be there are a lot of Hawaiian words that are difficult to pronounce, right? Haleakala National Park. It is a volcanic crater. It is very cool, but it's 10,000 feet. So you are driving from sea level to 10,000 feet. But it's really cool. If you're on Instagram, I did a post about kind of that. I also had a little video on there. So I'm Lael Konkar on Instagram if you want to see that. Now I'm getting that really close because I know that all of my letters are kind of wide, right? Works you cannot pronounce could be a thing too. Yeah, totally could be a thing, right? Yeah, the road to Hana. I've done that once. I did that once when I was in high school and my mom drove. So yeah, that was not something that, I mean, it's very cool, but that drive is not for the faint of heart. The sights that you can see, you're basically driving through a rainforest. So what's really interesting is when you go up to the 10,000 feet, the Haleakala National Park, it is, the crater is huge and you are above the clouds. I mean, it's the craziest thing. You are above the clouds and the trade winds, when the trade winds come in, they affect significantly the weather pattern. That's why one side of Maui is super, super, super dry. And then you have the other side where Hana is, Road to Hana, that's a rainforest. But it is I don't know, it's very cool. Nick and I are big national park geeks, so we love that. All right, we're getting close to being done with our title here. A little tester real quick. Oh, yeah, I got a little black there on my fingernail. We don't want that because that will be sure to transfer on something. It'll transfer onto my project. We don't want that. We don't want that one. Eva said some first or last names are hard to pronounce. Yes, like Lael. Very difficult. My maiden name, Danish, Erenskov. And once you see it spelled and then I tell you how to pronounce it, you're like, oh yeah, I can totally see that. I'm just one of those kids that the first day of school, when they're doing roll and it's a new teacher, they'd be going through the alphabet and, you know, calling off the kids. And then as soon as they're like, that's totally not straight at all. Although I think it's pretty straight. It just looks kind of not straight because of that one. They'd hesitate and I'd be like, here, I'm here. Lael Aronskog. And then Concar now, a little bit easier to pronounce, but sometimes you get concur. No, not concur. I concur. I do not concur. It is not concur. It's Concar. Yeah, no, I agree. Names can be very difficult to pronounce. And then I find people just don't call me by name because they don't know how to and they don't want to mess it up. And I say, oh heavens, no, don't worry. I've had the name my whole life. I've heard every possible way. Okay, there we go. Words that are hard to pronounce. Okay, words. Now, pronounce. Again, I'm using, normally I just use my little Sharpie, right? But I'm using this for my writing on that oxide so that I don't, so it doesn't, what can happen is, you see how the black ink, kind of the chalkiness of the base layer affected the black, and you can really see that when you've got like the R, the top part of the R versus the bottom part of the R. That would happen quite a bit with the Sharpie, and at some point it would just start to drag. It really would kind of lose all of its black color, and I know that based on experience. All right, let's see, what time are we at? 9:49. All right, so this is what's going to happen, my friends. I am going to tell you what's on my list. And now the S2. So it looks, they are a little bit, I know this is what I should have done. I should have done this. I should have drawn a line because they are way higher, aren't they? They're way higher. That's okay. It's mixed media. When you do mixed media, you want your letters to be mixed also. Whatever. Totally kidding there. Yeah, so what I should have done was draw a line with the pencil, and then that would have prevented that from, well, not prevented it, but maybe lessened the likelihood of that happening. But it's okay, it's art. All right, so what I'm going to do is this. I am going to, I will tell you the words on my list. I will, oh golly, okay. So you gotta worry about ink on your fingers. You see what I did? Now, I'm not super worried about that because as I'm writing and decorating over here, that will kind of maybe fade into the background a little bit. However, I can try to use my sand eraser. Now, I don't want to use the sand eraser on the ink because I have a feeling on the ink it might make a giant mess. But I can try a little bit on there. Yeah, a little bit of it will come off. There we go. And like I said, you won't even really notice those spots later. All right, so I'm going to do this. Since we're nearing the 10 o'clock mark in Laelland, Mountain Time, I'm going to tell you the words on my list, and then we will finish this up on Saturday. So this will be the first one I start out with on Saturday. Okay, so here are the words on my list. Worcestershire, mischievous, Nevada. Now here's the thing. I really don't know if you say Nevada or if you say Nevada. So that one for me is always hard to pronounce. Rural, juror. So juror and rural, kind of for the same reasons, the two R's close to each other. February, because I always want to say February and drop the first R. So then sometimes I say February and then it sounds really funny. Okay, this one I had to look at 5 times. I always thought it was a different word. The word is remuneration. And that is to be, I think, compensated for something. I always thought it was remuneration. Like remuneration. It's not, it's remuneration. M-U-N instead of N-U-M. That totally threw me for a loop today. Colonel, colonel, quinoa. This is another one. Pho, pho. P-H-O, like the soup. It's pho, even though it's pronounced P-H-O. Acai, acai, like an acai bowl. A-C-A-I. This is another one. Hermes. So H-E-R-M-E-S, the fashion brand. It's Hermes, not Hermes or Hermes. Hermes. Entrepreneur. Because you got to make sure you got that R next to the P. Entrepreneur. Bruschetta. It's not called bruschetta. It has an S-C-H and you'd think that was a sh. It's called bruschetta. Bruschetta, not bruschetta. This one I should have written down. S-E-G-U-E. I believe that's a seg. Not a Segway. I think it's a seg, but I'm not sure now. L-O-U-I-S-V-I-L-L-E. If there's anyone in Kentucky, that is either Louisville or Louisville. Louisville. Or Louisville. Not Louisville. I know it's not Louisville, but Louisville. I think I usually call it Louisville, Kentucky. These are vegetables, I believe, like a vegetable tray. C-R-U-D-I-T-S. It looks like crudites. It's crudité. Crudité. It's a French word. Nauseous. Okay, I should have written down the pronunciation there as well. Nauseous? Nauseous? Oh my gosh, yes. Sovereign. It's not sovereign, it's sovereign. And then the last one, I did not know this, but apparently that non-native English speakers have a very difficult time with the word squirrel. Squirrel, our little guy, squirrel. Okay, Mimi, right? What is that? I will add that to my list because that's another one I don't know. H-Y-G-G-E. That is Swedish. I don't remember how to pronounce it. H-Y-G-G-E. So anyhow, those are the words that I will be using on my list when we start out on Saturday morning. So let me just quickly see if I can look at my calendar. Oh, I can on my watch. Saturday, we are listing. Oh, Saturday is August 1st. All right. We are listing Saturday, August 1st. And then there is a huge chunk of time when we are not listing. So I'm going to turn on the overhead lights, move the studio lights, not turn them off. Oh, look who's awakening now. Reggie just had a big giant yawn. I'm going to rotate the camera, friends. Hooga, hayuga, auga. All right, here we go. Rotating. Here we go. I'm here. There's a face with the voice. All right, so let me look at this. Ooh, yikes. That's never attractive when you get me really up close like that in the bright light. Never attractive. Oh, he's coming in. He knows I'm done. So it's so funny. He is literally coming to walk right now. I got to move these lists because there might be still inky. He is right in front of me. Do you want to say hi, Reg? Oh, big kitty. I got a big kitty, huh? Yeah, you got to get down. He just knows. He knows I'm done now. He wants attention. All right, so let's talk about when we're listing again very quickly. We are listing August. Oh, is it Saturday the 2nd? I don't know. Whatever this Saturday is. I think it might be, I don't know. When is it? Yes. Saturday, August 2nd is our next listing. And then after that, not until the 23rd. So you guys, 2 weeks. Okay? Well, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. Big gap there because I am out of the country. So we'll do Saturday the 23rd and then Thursday the 28th. All right? There's a big gap there, like I said, because I will be out of town. And then Saturday, things have moved a little bit too. So if you've got the email that I sent out yesterday, you may have got it yesterday or this morning. Just double check the schedule at the bottom, okay? I need to add that to the Lail by Mail Facebook page and the Lail by Mail Facebook group, the updated schedule. All right, remember the, oh, I don't want to step on his tail. Remember the after party giveaway. So after party giveaway is another of the This Is Me stamp sets. Leave a message on the video when it's over. So if you're still here, wait 1 more minute, and then as soon as the video is over, you can leave a comment, then you can check that off the list, and then you're entered for the giveaway. That giveaway I will draw on Saturday morning right before we start. Saturday is our first Saturday of a new month, so we will be doing as our first list, well, once we finish the words that are hard to pronounce, then our first full new list will be about last month for the month of July. All right, my friends, so there you have it. I restocked all those little mini Distress Oxides. My first order went pretty quickly. You'll see those on the website, and you will see pretty much everything else I used tonight on the website. If you have any questions, the chat will now be over. You can either go to lailbymail.com and click contact us, or you can leave a comment, and I will see your comment on the video when it's over and respond to your comment and answer your question there. All right, my friends, Jillian, we are listing always Saturdays, 9 a.m., 9 a.m. Pacific time, all right? You can always count on that. When we're listing on Saturdays, it's always 9 a.m. Pacific. And that's probably going to be about a 4-hour-ish because we need to finish the list. It'll probably be a little bit longer than that. But come and go as you please. Drop in, say hi, stick with us at the beginning, come to the end, whatever it is, you can always watch the replay. Fun night, you guys. Thank you. I always miss it when we don't do them. I get so much out of doing these. So just thank you, thank you, thank you. It just is a time when I can be creative just for the sake of being creative. When you design so much and you are, designing new products and designing project kits and things like that, sometimes it's forced, right? Sometimes you have to get it done. This is always fun, and I never know how things are going to turn out, and so it gives me a place to play and experiment, and it gives me a place to connect with you guys and just be social, right? Because we're just like a whole bunch of friends hanging out in a room together. We just all happen to be in different rooms, right? So thank you for joining me. Have a good rest of your evening. Go get some rest, and have a great rest of your week. And I hope to see you this coming Saturday, and if not, I hope to see you late August. Thanks for watching, friends. Bye-bye. Bye. Ooh, stepping on stuff on the floor. Bye-bye.